The Black Line Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host. If I can get this mic where I need it, right there. You got to push it past. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and I'm happy you guys are here today. So we got a good show for you today. And as you guys come in, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe, because you never know. You just never know what might happen, and you might get pulled away. You might be, have every intention to hit it later, and then something happens. So you just do it now, and then you don't forget. And I really appreciate it. And it's the best way to help support a channel for free. All right. Well, lots going on today. Pretty sure you guys are aware of what's going on with Candace Owens, and it seems like the debate is going to happen with Andrew Wilson on Friday. I hope it does. I think that would be great for both sides to hear, two of the major proponents on either side kind of have it all out on the table. So having said that, if you guys didn't watch her today, there's some other things besides Andrew Wilson in the debate, which seems like it's all being squared away. There's a moderator in the work, not Michael Knowles. He decided not to do it. And we'll look at that as well, of why he decided not to do it. Candace was like, I'm pretty sure she knew he wasn't going to do it. They're friendly. They're friends. But he also said that he wanted to just stay out of it altogether. He hasn't wanted to throw his hat in the ring with the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation thing. But there's other things that took place on the show today, all right, with Candace Owens, regarding Tyler Robinson, regarding George Zinn, things that we need to look at, things that I want to discuss with you. I want to take a deeper look together, all right? So we're going to start with Candace Owens. We're going to look at some things that she brought up. I'm going to look at some things on X, and then we'll look at some other people. And I guess I was on an X space listening, just listening, and Uncle Tom was, I guess, debating. I don't know what you want to call it. Paramount, not so tactical. He had an X space where I guess he was letting people on. I only heard people from his own camp really get the mic a lot. And he did let Uncle Tom, who is a defender of this side of the camp, and of Candace, right? Get on there and pretty much say that the attacks and the allegations being levied at Candace are just wrong, right? Somebody was saying that she's, I don't know if it was Gary or someone else, but that she's like a terroristic, like they were alleging that she was making terroristic threats, or things that she has said and done on her show has led to people being in danger, I guess. Even though you're never going to be able to control what everyone does, ever. Everyone has free will, at least, people that are sane and have their own control over, their own faculties and their own, volition. And she's made it very clear every step of the way. She doesn't condone violence. She doesn't want any. And Barron said the same thing, like, don't call anyone. Don't reach out to anyone. Don't message it. Leave everybody alone. All right. The best way to win, or at least to prove who did it and who didn't do it, is not to attack anyone, not to reach out, not to make threats, not to slander anyone, just to, participate in the decentralized online investigation. You can, be a mommy sleuth, daddy sleuth, whatever. Or if you're not a mommy or daddy, just a sleuth. Okay. And send in tips to, I hit the mic, send in tips to different podcasters to help out that way. Everyone is going to help in a different way, in my opinion. There's even like organizations or companies that are wanting to support people investigating this. because that's how they feel they can lend a helping hand. Okay. But Candace is the brunt of most of all of the attacks. Yes, Tucker as well. And yes, Barron, but like way more Candace, right? Like she just gets all of the arrows directed at her. And this week, and well, I mean, it's been like ongoing this whole time, but it's really ramped up in the last few weeks, right? Andrew Wilson goes on Joe Rogan. He's like, oh, she doesn't want to debate me. I offered $300,000. His wife gets in the mix and is like yelling at her on X. And they even, who was it? Who was I watching? No, I think it was in the X space. Yeah, I think it was Paramount. Not So Tactical was attacking Muppet Masher for doing his part of the investigation online, like looking at the crowd and trying to find people that may have, footage or I don't know, may have seen something. And just like I speak to Muppet all the time. He's not a bad guy. He doesn't have bad intent. I think he genuinely, just a lot of the Aussies that we have out there want to find out what happened to Charlie Kirk and are genuinely concerned and want to help however they can. But nonetheless, Candace gets a lot of the arrows, right? The last few weeks, it's stepped up a lot. You got Steven Crowder jumping in the mix, Dana Loesch, you have Seth Dillon, you have Jeremy Boring, you have Graham Allen, all of them. They're all attacking her. And now, like, they're all jumping on now on this Andrew Wilson thing. Like this is the thing to like make or break it, which it's not, which it's just not. I think it'll be beneficial. She's very articulate. She's very well seasoned in like debating. And I think it'll be great to have someone at that caliber face off against Andrew if he can play nice and debate in good faith, even though every time I've seen him, he never does either of those things. So we'll see. Yeah. All right. I'll get off the soapbox. Let's get going, guys.
Stupidity, the ever-increasing stupidity of the Tyler Robinson narrative, that we are to believe that this uber intelligent kid, remember, Tyler Robinson had above a 4.0 GPA, and we are to believe also that he wanted to get away with this crime. That's expressed to his furry lover via text. Remember, he allegedly wrote this in the confession messages to Lance. He wrote, quote, "To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age." There goes the suicide narrative. So yeah, we're told he wanted to get away with it.
Can I ask you guys a question? I was watching. I'll leave the person unnamed for now. You might find out later down the line. I was watching someone on the other side of this, whatever, camp, whatever you want to call it, fence, canyon. There's like a continental like cavern in between us and the other side, it seems, and it's pretty sad. There's like no daylight. And a lot of the arguments, I don't understand if they're genuine or not, because it's not like we're saying we have proof of who did it. We don't. What we're pretty positive of is that the evidence that's always being referenced and quoted, I want someone to show me actual evidence. Don't quote the charging documents. Okay. Don't quote the probable cause affidavit. Don't reference the prosecution, who has clearly lied. And they put Officer Bagley, they put, what's his name? Detective Hull. And then they put those, their SBI detectives. Well, he was one SBI detective. And then there was the Polynesian lady who misrepresented what the DNA and the ballistic expert actually wrote in their report. They oversold their conclusions, their conclusory statements, and left out what the actual like findings in their report said. And every time I hear someone say, "Show me evidence of our side," what I'm going to say is, can you show me actual evidence that Tyler Robinson did it? Because every time they reference a piece of evidence, I can poke holes in that. I mean, let's go over it, guys. What are all the pieces of physical evidence? Okay. The surveillance footage, no one can positively ID that person. Why can't we see who it is in any of them? They'll tell you it's Tyler. Show me Tyler Robinson. You know, in the Paramount Not So Tactical Uncle Tom, conversation, I've heard Barron say this, I've heard Candace say this, I've said this, and other people have said this. Can you just show me one piece of evidence that doesn't have chain of custody issues, that isn't suspect in some way, shape, or form of how they got it, what it actually says, what it doesn't say, that it's valid, right? That it's been verified. Can you just show me one thing? Erica, let's use Erica's word. Can we just have one thing? Can our side just have one thing? We just want one piece of evidence that can point to Tyler Robinson. I will concede if you can give me one that doesn't have questions all around it. So all of the surveillance footage has issues all over it. You can't tell who they are. I think it's more than one person. I don't know that, and I don't even think it's Tyler. And she brought this up today. The gentleman in the maroon shirt and shorts in the beginning of the day walking through the carport or whatever you want to call it, the parking garage, does seem to be a bit broader and thicker. Also seems to have something under his hat. If you were to look at all the Tyler Robinson photos of him, he wears that Hurley hat. It's a fitted hat. It's not okay, as a man, I know things about hats that maybe a lot of women wouldn't know. All right. There are deep bucket type hats, right? Like baseball, professional MLB baseball hats typically have a deeper head, whatever you want to call it, right? They're deeper inside. Anyway. So if you don't wear them all the way down, they're going to stick up more. But these Hurley hats, right? And they have elastic. They're not really fitted like the MLB ones that are fixed in their size. These Hurley hats have an elastic to them, which allow people with smaller heads to wear the same hat that someone could with the bigger head, because it fits and then it stretches. It doesn't have a deep head pocket to it. So for this gentleman in the car part, and we're going to look at it, he has glasses on, right? You can see that the hat is actually like this, and it's sitting up above his head. That could point to the possibility that he has more hair tucked up inside the hat, and it is pushing the top of the hat up. He could have something else under there. It is odd that none of the Tyler Robinson photos from his past have him wearing his hat like that. None of them. Okay. So going back to what I was saying about the evidence, right? The DNA evidence. Why is Lance Twiggs' DNA on everything except for the rifle? I used to think it was on the rifle. It's not. I was corrected. So one of the only pieces of physical evidence where the Lance Twiggs' DNA is not on, it's the rifle. So it's on the towel, it's on the screwdriver, and it's on the Dremel tool. And then I actually don't know if it's on the casings. I'd have to find out. But it's not on the rifle. All right. But that's not even the point, right? The point is that on the rifle, Tyler Robinson's DNA is the most degraded out of everyone there. It should be the opposite. If he was the last person to touch it, which he should be if it was found on the 11th, right? He supposedly did it on the 10th. That means it would have been the freshest DNA on the rifle, right? But when it's exposed to the elements for long periods of time, DNA degrades over time. There was a minimum of 4 people's DNA on the rifle, upwards of 6. Okay. Dad, brother, also on there. All right. On the rifle, right? We come to find out that the screwdriver was initially toted out as being a key part of physical evidence. And it's left out of other court documents. And they're not referencing it in some of the hearings. Right. And I don't know. Is that because it got planted? Is that because the way that Detective Officer Bagley and Alan Robinson or Robertson, whatever, came upon it is suspect, right? That Officer Bagley, with a fully charged body camera, had it on for 27 minutes. It has haptic vibration. It beeps really loud, and it gives off large, like a bright flashing red light, the Axum body camera. He said he didn't know what happened. I think it died. You would know. You would know for a fact. You'd remember it freaking shook, it beeped, and it started blinking, and then it died. It lets you know it's about to die. He would know. Didn't know. Did you turn it off? That's convenient. You don't know what happened to it, buddy. And then, 27 minutes for a body camera that lasts 10 to 14 hours. Suspect, right? Someone's up there with him. Alan Robertson doesn't know. Officer Bagley isn't even aware of who he is. Didn't identify him. I find that hard to believe. And that's when they find this screwdriver. This screwdriver is so pivotal to their case. It's the only concrete piece of physical evidence that can put Tyler Robinson on the roof. The only piece. Because the camera, the surveillance footage is debatable. We don't know who that is. We don't. No one can positively ID the Sasquatch on the roof. All right? So without the screwdriver, they are going to run a major risk of losing the jury to believe them that Tyler Robinson was on the roof at the time. The other thing that's an issue with the surveillance footage is that Officer Bagley admitted to Catherine Nestor that when they went to go look at the surveillance footage right away to determine, when did the person get on the roof? When did he jump off? Where did he go? Officer Bagley did not check. Sorry, my nose is itching. Dry skin. Officer Bagley did not check from the time the person jumped off the roof to the time that he and Alan Robertson arrived on the roof. He never checked that period of time. The reason that's important is someone else could have gone up there in that time and dropped the screwdriver. I think it's also important to probably go back maybe even a week to determine who's been up on that roof. I guarantee you what we might find out is that one of the groundskeepers, the maintenance men, probably was up there working on something, maybe fixing one of the vents, maybe fixing one of the things on the top of the Losi Center roof. Maybe he had a black and red screwdriver like Kelly Raybon found when she went there. When she went there, she found in one of these golf carts that's like the standard screwdriver that they use. It was just sitting in a golf cart, black and red. Yeah, that's very common color for screwdrivers. There's also others, though, right? And it's also on that campus, right? And maintenance men do go on the roofs of the buildings to fix things. So it is plausible, especially with all of the issues surrounding when and how did they find the screwdriver? Like if we would have had body cam footage of Officer Bagley and Alan Robertson finding the screwdriver and he didn't turn his body cam off or it didn't die, that it wouldn't be that much of an issue. If he actually checked the surveillance footage of did anyone else go on the roof after Eagle Boy jumped off and before we came up, he wasn't even curious. It didn't even cross his mind while on the stand during cross-examination what she was asking. It didn't even cross his little brain what she was getting at. He walked right into it. He gave that up freely. No, we didn't look. Really? Man, lack of curiosity, huh? Yeah. Oh, you knew. You just knew, like Erica, you just knew. Got it. Like I said, I would also go back a week or two. If supposedly Tyler Robinson had planned this in a week or 2 weeks, maybe he scoped it out. Maybe he went there. I mean, whoever did it probably went there in advance to make sure that they were going to find a place with access to a roof and that had easy exit. Okay, because I mean, it's pretty convenient that there were other roofs. They're taller, they're harder to get up, and they're harder to get down. That one is just good enough to make the public believe that a shot could be taken from that location. I don't think a shot could be taken from that location, not based on the video that we see, because Mr. Eagle Boy doesn't make it up to the edge in order to point the rifle down to get the 9-degree angle to reach Charlie. Okay. You want to know what I also think? I do also think that there are people within TPUSA and the security team that are part of this in some way. We're going to look at some photos. We're going to go to X. We are going to listen to Candace Owens, but I want to get through some things. He's never been put on a platform like that. Yes, he's down in like a canyon type amphitheater. I got it, right? But they have stadium seating. So it's not like you needed to put him up for everyone to see. In fact, the further back someone is in that amphitheater, the better they're going to be able to see, because they're higher up and they can see down. But in my opinion, the only reason why you put Charlie up like that is so that you can guarantee that when they do the line of sight test to determine if this person on the roof even could have made the shot, they're going to be able to say it was possible. Probably only possible because he was sitting on that podium, that platform on a chair, which had never happened before. If he had been sitting on the ground, most likely the people in the front couple rows, their heads would have been in the way. Somebody would have been blocking the line of sight, most likely. Okay? I don't think that's an accident. I don't think it's an accident that Dan Flood and Brian Harple and a couple of other of the security team members were on site ahead of time helping with the setup. We'll look at that too. Okay? So, what else do we have of issue? The ballistic analysis. It's supposed to be a 30-06. That would be 0.308 base radius of the jacket. Okay, the actual round, all the way up to like 0.4 something, 0.1. The bullet retrieved, the fragment retrieved from Charlie was 0.286 to 0.301. Not to mention, there's no exit wound. They should be able to retrieve every piece of fragment from that bullet jacket, weigh it, take a whatever remainder of the rounds that were either or they don't even have to disturb the other rounds that were in the clip. They can just know what ammunition that is, go get one, take the jacket out, weigh the jacket alone, and make sure that they retrieve all the pieces from inside Charlie, weigh it to make sure, yep, that's the same bullet. No exit wound. Supposedly they retrieved 7 pieces, but they only shipped 4 off to ATF and FBI for analysis. Where's the rest? Why is there no exit wound? What happened to inside of Charlie's body from this one bullet? Doesn't make sense. Okay, the autopsy itself has major holes, issues, and questions surrounding it. Then we haven't even gotten to the text messages, right? Can we see verification that those came from Tyler Robinson's phone? Can you show us metadata? Can you show us a pinpoint location and guarantee that he had possession of the phone at the time and that it was sent and timestamped at that time from his phone with location time and the timestamps? Why not? Isn't it possible that his lover, quote unquote, lover, roommate would have access at any point in the months and weeks leading up to the assassination to pair the device? If not, Tyler already did it with a laptop or another tablet or some device in the house. And Lance could have been sending those messages back and forth to himself or from a different Fed to Lance. Why can't we see the top left side of Lance's phone that would have the timestamp on it? Convenient crack. What's up with the weird green line? Why is it that each text message picture of the phone, the font and the color of the bubbles are different? How come the cops just took a photo of Lance's phone? How come we don't see printouts of those text messages from the company? What's up with this letter that he supposedly wrote, then burned, but didn't flush and throw away, left in the trash can, but didn't burn successfully, just enough so that they could say, yep, this is the letter, and Lance took a picture of it? Why is it that the Discord chats seem to be fabricated and not genuine and authentic? Why is that the language used in the different conversations, whether that's the letter, the text messages, and the Discord chat, why is it they all seem like someone else wrote them? And it doesn't seem like a 20-something-year-old Gen Z, college student wrote them. Why can't we see Tyler Robinson confirmed to be like a good photo or video of him surrendering himself to law enforcement when he, surrendered himself willingly on his own? Why do we see the back of his head? Why does it look like that shirt is not the same shirt as the other shirt he was wearing at Dairy Queen? Why don't we see verified license plate photos of his car entering and leaving the parking garage? Those cameras have that ability. Why does it seem like the person in the maroon shirt and Eagle Boy is left-handed? Tyler's right-handed. I was talking to my wife who's left-handed, and I was like, watching Candace today, yeah, I always put in my right ear pod. I put my phone in my right pocket, and she was like, she's left-handed. And she's like, I always put my left ear pod in. I put my phone in my left pocket. It's your dominant hand. That's such a small thing that it's not a small thing. It's a big thing, but it's such a small thing for someone to like be aware of in the moment, right? They maybe like had talked about it ahead of time and were like, okay, I'm going to be aware of this. I got to make sure. But in the moment, when you have so much going on, you're aware that you're, in my opinion, framing someone for this. You're going to revert to your basic, nature. You're just going to revert. And like, that's the thing. So I train jujitsu. It's the same thing in the military. The reason why you train over and over and over again until it becomes your base operation, like a response. Because in fight or flight, your brain shuts down and you're not really thinking, okay? You're just reacting. And you need to have this drilled in so much that that's the thing that your body reacts to. And that's what you do. But in these moments, like what we see in the footage of, the person walking inside and out of the car park and up and down the stairs, it's such a thing that the person probably just didn't think about it in that moment. A lot going on, realizing that you're probably framing someone for murder right now, pretending to be someone else, knowing you're being filmed on surveillance footage, that it's going to be played in the trial. It's going to be reviewed thousands of times as a piece of evidence. Dang it. Sucks. Put it in your left ear. Put it in your left pocket. These are the moments I think God intervened for Charlie. These small but massive mistakes. I believe that God and Charlie have been intervening this whole time. So I could go on forever, baby. What's that quote from? What movie, you guys? I could go on forever, baby. Remember, Christmas movies are my thing, okay? Not to mention, the freaking rifle. What's up with the rifle, ladies and gentlemen? I thought it was an authentic original Mauser, World War I or World War II era. I've heard both quoted. So either it's like 1900, like 1918, 1910, or it's a 1940. I don't know. It's a 1900 Mauser, wooden, right? Original, supposedly. And then we see this synthetic, like modern rifle as the photo used in the beginning. And supposedly the parents go, oh my gosh, that's Grandpappy's rifle. Doesn't look like it to me. And then I hear some Fed sloppers on X saying that, did you know how common it is for these Mausers to be refitted with modern components? And I'm like, yeah, but didn't they reference that it's the original rifle and that's why it had like dust in it, but also that's why that the bullet didn't go through. Remember that? Oh, remember? Initially, they're like, it could be old rounds. Maybe that's why it didn't go through. Could be old rounds, gunpowder old. And then they're like, oh, the barrel's old, right? It's an old rifle. Maybe that's why it didn't go through. Now we have Fed sloppers over there saying that, no, it was a modern, like they refitted it with a modern buttstock barrel. It had a modern scope on it, that the whole thing, it's basically a new freaking rifle. A family heirloom where one of your like ancestors, right? Even though it's recent, it's still an ancestor, right? Your grandfather, great-grandfather fought in World War I or World War II, used that rifle, was issued to him, and he was able to take it home. You're not going to damage that rifle, destroy it, lose all of its sentimental value by making it modern so you can go hunting with it. That thing goes in a display case. You just buy another rifle. Okay? You just buy another rifle. Okay? How it was found, suspect. How it was found, heavily suspect. That it was not found with the initial local police that swept the area. Then the bomb-sniffing dogs came and missed it, even though it was supposed to be fired just hours before. Didn't find it. Then the FBI shows up. They search, don't find it. Then they employ 2 local cops with less than a year put between the both of them to just do one final sweep. And then they find it. What do you know? I guess the 4th time's the charm, or is that the 5th? You got the local police, bomb-sniffing dogs, FBI, rookie cops. 4th time's the charm. And I forgot to mention, remember the rooftop surveillance footage? You don't see a gun. You don't see a gun at all. Not at all, let alone a 45 to 49-inch Mauser. And then we have Lance Twiggs, his personal testimony, right? That supposedly Tyler Robinson, imagine this, the type of person, get inside the mind of the person that would carry this out, right? That he must have been thinking about this for a long time. At least 6 months or a year. All right. Okay. And it could be even less. I don't want to get bogged down if you're like, nah, it didn't have to be that. Okay. Few months, but he started planning it 2 weeks before. That is 14 days times 24 hours. And then you could times the minutes and the seconds of how many moments he had to change his mind. And that every time, every second, every minute, every hour of every day, from the moment he decided and started planning this to the moment where he supposedly got up there and took the shot, he decided every single time, no, I'm doing it. This is worth it. Some hate just can't be negotiated out. But supposedly, right? Oh, and has a stomach of steel. Chick-fil-A, Dairy Queen, the Cowboy Steakhouse. But then all of a sudden, maybe it was the steak and potatoes. It brought something in. It grounded him. It brought him back to reality. And then he finally thought clearly for the first time. Because then when he gets home, I guess this could happen. Not. That then for the first time he felt guilty. In all the text messages and the confessions and everything, no guilt, no remorse, no empathy, nothing. But then he gets home. Maybe it's the relationship with Lance Twiggs. He got home, right? Lance Twigg was supposedly nesting. Maybe Tyler got back to his nest and he felt safe. And he could just unload emotionally, supposedly. Total BS. The type of person it would take to pull this off successfully, mind you, successfully. Go reference Mike Glover and Mike Ritland of actions on, like planning, preparation, actions on, infill, exfil, to pull this off. They, as seasoned operators, go, not a civilian. No chance. But supposedly was able to do all that, has the IQ that he has, high IQ, 4.0 GPA, got academic scholarships, was so dumb to then throw it all away by admitting in every physical way you could, a letter, a text message, and a Discord chat. The only other thing they should have thought of is a recording. He should have recorded himself and left a message. You know, maybe they just thought, is that too far? That'll be obvious. That'll be obvious. Okay, we won't do that. But then he gets home and he's like, I just can't take it. I wish I wouldn't have done it, my love. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have done it. Give me a break. Humans don't work like that. The type of person to feel remorse, to feel empathy and regret for an action like that isn't going to happen within 12 hours of committing the crime. He wasn't on substances. It wasn't a crime of passion, right? A crime of passion is in the moment, all right? You are not thinking clearly, and you do something because of that circumstance, and that's usually a crime of passion is not premeditation, okay? Those people do tend to have regret and remorse within the first 24 hours, not premeditated 2-week planning murders. Doesn't happen like that, ladies and gentlemen. Psychologically, people just don't work that way. But he supposedly gets home, he's pacing, he's crying, confesses, tells him that he wish he wouldn't have done it. All of the pieces of evidence. And then we just have to trust Lance Twiggs, right? The same person that had access to all of these things that are being used as evidence to convict and put to death Tyler Robinson. All of the things that equally, I could look at all their surveillance footage and be like, actually, that looks like Lance. Wait, Lance Twiggs' DNA was on mostly everything as well? Wow. I guess he could have done it in just worn gloves. He could have got Tyler to touch it a couple weeks before and just worn gloves. We know that somebody dumped gloves, jacket, and backpack at the library at UVU after jumping off the roof. Well, we think it's the person that jumped off the roof that left those things. Huh. So it's possible that it's Lance, right? And then think of the hair. The person in the car park footage today looks like to have a ponytail up underneath the hat. This person, Lance Twiggs, seems to be a lot more psychologically the individual that fits the profile to do this than Tyler Robinson. Lance Twiggs' own family thinks that. Tyler Robinson's own family thinks that Tyler Robinson isn't the kind of person to do this and that Lance much more is. And then we have to just accept the fact that Lance was, I guess, if you believe the official story, was an accomplice after the fact, didn't call police to turn him in. Yeah. And then we're supposed to believe that the initial interview that took place in September, October wasn't sufficient enough for the prosecution, that 6 months later, they call him back in February and March timeframe. And then that's the interview when he's offered, limited immunity, just enough to not go to prison, though. That's the kind of immunity you need as long as he doesn't perjure himself on the stand. But I don't think they're going to be convicting anyone for perjury because then they might have to look into Officer Bagley and Detective Hull, right? Detective Hull conveniently left out that that Ring doorbell camera footage that they say proves was Tyler getting out of his car the night of. Actually, the people that live there said it was a middle-aged white male that was bald and 3 other occupants. Why didn't you say that? Catherine Nestor crosses him. Why didn't you say that? You left that out? Yeah. Yeah. He says, yeah, they thought, talking about the married couple whose Ring doorbell the footage came from, they think they saw that. Oh, okay. All right. But you believe everything Lance says. So they think and you don't believe. He thinks and you believe. Got it. All right. Convenient. And then we get to the whole aspect of he supposedly confessed to his parents. I've never seen anything to prove that fact. I've never seen anything that Tyler's parents turned him in for doing this crime. I've never seen anything to prove that Tyler Robinson's parents saw the surveillance footage in the early days of the investigation, the manhunt, and go, that's my son. We need to get a hold of him. That's Grandpappy's rifle. We need to call him and ask him where it is. Where are you, son? Where's Grandpappy's rifle? No proof of that I see. And if that were true, why would grandfather then give an interview that was recorded? I can't remember if it was by Elizabeth Lane or if it was by Brandy and Billy, that he doesn't believe Tyler did this. Huh, that's weird. Supposedly the parents, along with this LDS former sheriff, Boy Scout leader, turned Tyler in, and that Tyler confessed to them. But we see no proof of that. It's just referenced. Every piece of evidence that they've used thus far is just being referenced. I haven't, in the prelim, I didn't see one piece that I was like, oh, shoot, maybe he did do this. That actually is a pretty solid piece of evidence. No, like literally every single piece was questionable. Every single piece. So there was one more too. I can't remember. All right. I think I got enough of that out. But that's why when watching this other podcaster, argue against our side, but all they could do is what Gary has done, what Graham has done, what Andrew does, and they all do. Show me the evidence. Show me your evidence. Show me the evidence against Tyler Robinson that is so good that everyone on your side needed to lie about it. 11 months or 8 months or whatever, 9 months, 10 months leading up to the preliminary hearing, a mountain of evidence, an avalanche so overwhelming. 90% could be thrown out and he would still get convicted. It's an open and shut case. And then we get to the prelim and we're like, oh no, it's just what was in the charging documents and the probable cause affidavit. Okay. And then they realize that even with the evidence that they used during the prelim, even the defense was able to poke holes all in that. And they did. They get to day 5 on Friday and realize they're behind the 8 ball. They need to finish strong. Erica had to get in the mix, right? Erica and her lawyers had to make sure that they threw their hat in the ring to get the judge to play the video that the judge had said, yeah, I don't think we could play that Madden video. You guys altered it. That's not the original video. All right. Well, I guess if you take the red arrows and the red circles off and we don't show it to the public, then it can't negatively affect Tyler Robinson's right to a fair trial because none of the jurors would see it. That might have been true if Erica hadn't have asked for her little propagandists to be in the room. Jack Posobiec, Graham Allen, Brandon Tatum, who else and Benny Johnson. She asked them there for that very reason. Every day, too, they left saying, like, oh my gosh, it was so hard to watch Erica and Charlie's parents. They were together. We don't know that. We don't know that Charlie's parents actually were consoling Erica. I've never seen one piece of photo or video that Erica comforted Charlie's parents or vice versa. Not one. They were there to lie to us. That's why those people were there. To lie to us. And then when they realized that the evidence was insufficient, in my opinion, and that probable cause, at least in the public's eye, and most of the jurors, the future possible jurors that were tuned in and watching it every day, were going to be questioning it all. So they had to come out swinging. And they come out right away. Frank Turek jumps in. So does James Cadiz. All the ones I mentioned. 4K, high def, high quality footage. You could see him pull the trigger. You could see the recoil. You could see the kickback, his leg moves. You could see him. You could see the muzzle flash. You could see his face. It's so clear. Only if you were there. Only if you were there. Thank God we had people there. Told us right away, liars. Lies, lies, more lies. You don't need to do that in an open and shut case with avalanches and mountain of evidence. You don't need to lie at all. The evidence, even just one single piece of evidence, should be able to stand alone on its own. You should be able to look at that piece of evidence and go, dang, that is a piece of evidence. Looks like Tyler probably did this. We don't have one. Not one. So yeah, I get a little frustrated, okay, when people attack us. People attack Candace and Barron and Coach and anyone else that's on this side trying to find out what really happened. Their lack of curiosity kills me. How deceptive, disingenuous, dishonest, corrupt even they are. And from the beginning, mind you, Erica came out on the 11th day and forgave Tyler Robinson with less evidence then than we had at the prelim. Her confidence never wavered from day 11, to month 11. It was the same. How is that possible? She came out and lied and said, yes, she believes Tyler Robinson did it. Why? I've seen the evidence. I'm like on the prosecution's team. They've shown me everything. I've seen the autopsy. Yeah, well, we haven't seen the autopsy, but we've read parts of it. The autopsy isn't a pretty straightforward thing that a 30-06 hit him in the neck and didn't exit out the back. So what is she talking about? That the autopsy and the evidence that then gets shown at the prelim that we now have the ability to know what it is, that's the evidence she was quoting on day 11. No, even less of it because they hadn't compiled it all then. But she was positive then. She was positive when she goes to Barry Weiss and makes those statements that Tyler did it. How can you not see that as an issue? The wife, she made personally $20 million. Not just the organization. That was also misquoted in this debate by this podcaster. He didn't even know his facts. I do. I'll help you out. $18 to $20 million Erica Kirk made personally, raised Give, Send, Go, and other donations. She also got to receive the life insurance policy that was paid out directly to her because she became the CEO and it was written to the new CEO. Yep. And now she has the salary as well. Yeah, she supposedly is not taking a salary this year. Okay, I'll believe it when we see the documents. Usually means, motive, and opportunity is where you begin to look. Who profited the most? Who had the most to lose if this person stayed alive? Why did Erica, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, and everyone on that side begin to lie immediately about the relationship with Candace, about the pressure Charlie Kirk was facing in the months leading up to his assassination, about his own concerns about his own safety from the people that were connected to the donors that were pulling money and putting pressure on him? Why weren't they honest about that? They lied. Erica lied about that specifically. He never sent that text, she said. Candace releases the proof. Oh, shoot. Not a text. Okay, the WhatsApp. Oh, the messaging service. Okay, he did. Okay. Semantics. That's how you get out of this? That's a joke. Don't forget, the Superman neck of steel lie came from Erica too. Didn't come from Lee Trotter, the surgeon. That came from Erica Kirk. And Andrew Kolvet was greenlit to sell it to us as having come from the surgeon. They have hijacked our faith, our spirituality, and our relationship with God, our good nature as Christians, to believe in other Christians' good nature, to extend the amount of grace that God extends us, to forgive much as we will be forgiven much, to not judge. They want us to do these things, but it's a manipulation tactic. People don't engage in these things if they're true Christians. They don't do that. Andrew Kolvet, on the behest of Erica Kirk, puts out a fake alibi for the night of the 8th, the Fort Huachuca incident. Those aren't the photos of her kids. That's not Gigi and Mac. That kid has 6 fingers. That's a 5 and 7-year-old, at least, if not more. Gigi was 3.5 and Mac was 1.5 when that photo was supposedly taken on the night of September 8th. Not to mention, that photo was for the morning of the 9th. Not to mention, think about this. If Erica and Andrew together didn't want to show the kids, but wanted to get Gary, who doesn't do his due diligence, to tell the audience without showing them the photo what he was looking at, all they would need to do is show a photo of kids and Erica's like hand. And they could say, Erica took the photo. Well, where's Erica? Well, she took the photo. That's her thumb. She's covering up the faces to conceal their identity. But don't show the photo on your show. Just tell your audience what you see. Read the timestamp. Read the date. Tell them that you see Erica Kirk's kids and that Erica Kirk took the photo. Therefore, at the home, taking the photo. Gary wasn't supposed to show that footage, that photo. He messed up. God intervened again. God and Charlie intervened on our behalf again. What some people try to keep in the dark, God says will always be brought to the light in the end. People without anything to hide don't engage in this behavior. They don't need to give false alibis. They don't need to lie. They don't need to engage in narrative control and propaganda. They don't need to forget where they were that day like Blake Neff. I wasn't a witness to the assassination. What are you talking about? You were there, numbskull. Where were you the night before, the night of, the day of? Who were you with? I don't remember. Andrew Kolvet giving conflicting testimony as to, well, could you really have been in your house in San Bernardino when you got the notification that Charlie was shot? Could you really have made it to the airport in 30 minutes, got on the flight to be in the air in the time that you claimed to be? Why were you then unable to be contacted by Marina, and then they get Aubrey Leish to write the statement on your behalf because you're out of service? Why is it questionable where Erica Kirk was when she found out? Why don't we know any of this? Why wouldn't they want to just prove Candace wrong? Why wouldn't they want to not lose Charlie's audiences so bad that they go the extra mile? They could even say, we don't have to do this, but we believe that you deserve that as Charlie's followers, to prove to you we have nothing to hide. Completely open, totally transparent as Charlie was, totally honest. This is where we were. This is what we were doing. You see? Open the doors. Let us peek behind the curtain. No. They haven't done that at all. Why do they lie about Charlie's legacy? Why are they lying about what he was experiencing in the end? That he didn't support the war in Iran. He wouldn't support this war. He didn't support the non-release of the Jeffy Epstein files. He was in between a rock and a hard place, having to trust those people that he thought were his friends and all of us. He stood in between us and them. He put his name, his reputation on the line for them. I think he began to realize he made a mistake. And he was trying to navigate how to get out of that. And they never let him figure out how to get out of that. He said multiple times, I don't approve of the bombing in the nuclear sites in Iran. He didn't want that. Joe Kent told Clint Russell that I think he also heard from like Buckley Carlson, who heard from Tucker, because both of those were on Clint's show. that the 2 days leading up to the bombing, Charlie was there trying to get Trump not to do the bombing. He felt even the bombing was going to possibly ruin the base and lose support. But when he realized that it was going to happen either way, he had to accept it. And then they promise him that's as far as this will go. No more. We promise. He comes home, goes on his show and says, I'm going to trust my friends that this is it. There's clear, definitive mission, objectives. We know when we've completed the mission, so we know when we're going to get out. No boots on the ground. As long as it goes as it should, that'll be it. And then he goes, but if it's not, we have something to worry about. No regime change should ever occur in Iran. He was totally against it. He would have been against all of this. He would have been against Venezuela and Maduro. He would have been against the fact that no files ended up being released. Still, like 3 million files not being released. They pressured him to stop talking about it, and he goes, I'll stop talking about it for now. I'll trust him again. He had to revert to the trust of his friends so many times, and you better believe that he was beginning to realize that he shouldn't be trusting them. And that if he was left alive and he witnessed everything to happen in the last 11 months, he would have completely come over to our side with Candace and Tucker. And that would have been the end of Trump and JD in 2028, the midterms. It would have been the end of the war in Iran and support for Israel. It would have been the end of a lot of things. It's one thing to have Nick Fuentes and other people say things that they say, but to have Charlie say it, everyone knew, that would be a big deal. That's why Bibi tried so hard to buy him, to persuade him, then talk to people like Josh Hammer, Rabbi Walicki, and others to pressure him in a way to threaten him. Better listen, Charlie. If you do this, God's going to lift his hand of protection from you. Don't want to be counted among the Edomites, Charlie. So hopefully I've done a good job. Did I get it? Did I cover it all? I know there's so much more. But let me see. What up, Zamet? All right, I'm going to get to those in a little bit. Let's continue. All right.
To live out his old age with this secret. And yet, when he went to campus that day, he chose to wear his favorite shirt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you dunce, you don't do that. You don't wear your favorite shirt to commit a crime. I suddenly realized how quickly, if you remember, the media intentionally kept showing us Tyler in maroon shirts over the years. In fact,
yeah, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Why did they, where is it? Right. Where's the shirt? Where is it? There it is. Why immediately did the media and the authorities have to show us every photo they could of him in a maroon shirt? We didn't know about the parking structure surveillance footage yet. They did. We didn't see that till much later. We didn't see that till the prelim, as far as I remember. We saw the Eagle Boy shirt, walking down the steps, walking up the steps, and then supposedly it's the same person possibly climbing over the railing. Not Tyler Robinson, though, in my opinion. But that's all we saw. But they knew that they were going to need to show us a lot of maroon, because then they have Dairy Queen. We saw the Dairy Queen photo as well. That came out. I don't know that came out by them, though. I think that was Candace or someone that sent it to Candace, if I can recall. But remember, during the lead up to the prelim, before they showed us the footage, they swore to us that the morning footage of him in the shorts and the maroon shirt was 100% him. They guaranteed that the footage was so clear that they could positively ID it as Tyler Robinson. And then we see it and we're like, no, you can't. No, you can't. And then they show us the footage of him surrendering himself, supposedly, and it's the back of his head. Who the heck is that? Why did they have to feed us things? If it's such an open and shut case, why are they feeding us things to bolster up their narrative without actually showing us anything concrete? You don't do that in an open and shut slam dunk case. There's no need to, but they did. Why? My conclusion, because it's not Tyler Robinson.
Immediately seeded into our minds, seeded to the public before we knew any details, was that, hey, Tyler Robinson wears maroon shirts.
Yep.
He loves maroon shirts, like a lot. In fact, it was almost as if he only wore maroon shirts. It was like revisit that in your mind. They even handpicked other photos to show and share with the world how much he repeatedly was in maroon, even from the time he was young. I'm going to show you some photos that were presented in the media. If you Google Tyler Robinson in the media on that day, you will see these photos that they pulled from his mother's face.
Oh, let's back up real quick. Hold on. Let me mute it, and then it'll play to, I want to get to the hat. So look at how the hat is seating on his head. All right. And then look at it here. So the one before, he doesn't have his glasses on. So maybe some Fedslopper could argue, well, that's because his glasses aren't on. Once the glasses are on, the hat's going to be pushed up. No, it's not, because if you can see right here on the side, he doesn't have his glasses resting and the hat on top of the glasses. He puts his hat on, pulls it down, and then puts the glasses on top of the hat. It goes over the hat on the side. All right. That hat, I used to have a hat just like that. By the way, it's not black. It's like gray. All right. It's pulled all the way down. It doesn't have a deep head pocket on it. But yeah, they had to show us nothing but maroon shirts. I remember Googling photos of Tyler in the beginning. It's like all there is that, these ones, and then there's like a couple others. But like t-shirts, they were like all maroon.
You will see these photos that they pulled from his mother's Facebook, even going back from when he was younger.
Yep.
Photos of him and like, oh gosh, wow, this kid must just love maroon shirts. It's his favorite shirt. That was intentional.
Yep.
That was intentional because I actually had gone through his mother's Facebook at the time, and there were plenty of other photos of Tyler Robinson to choose from, many of them much more recent than the one that they were showing of him wearing shirts of all different color varieties.
Why would you need to do that? So here we go. So this is another version of that Hurley hat. He, I don't know. He might've been on the spectrum, because clearly like he wears like the same style shirts, which must mean he has a sensory issue. He buys the same hat. He wears the same glasses, just newer pairs, but it's the exact same, right? Different versions, but the exact same color. I mean, the exact same shirt, just different colors. Same hat, just different colors. Same glasses, actually, they look the exact same. Why would they need to try to feed us this like narrative that we didn't know that they were going to show us surveillance footage of him only wearing a maroon shirt? Now we know. Hindsight's 2020. They were doing it for a reason.
Actually, when I looked through everything, I went back and reflected. We had a screen record. I would have assumed actually blue was his favorite color on the basis of the photos that I saw of Tyler Robinson. So I reflected on that intention. It reminds me of sort of the same psychological operation of them immediately trying to remind us.
100%. I want to get to the inside of the car parking garage.
Right. We showed you that last week that what they didn't show you in that blurry images of him coming down the stairs is that he's actually putting his phone in his left hand. And today we have more exclusive stills from the 4K undeniable footage that was shown in the courtroom to influencers, eventually shown to influencers to prove that. The first thing I'm going to show you from that parking garage is what this person looks like, because if it was less compressed and blurry, which is what we were shown, you might realize that he's kind of a bit broad. Take a look at this. Oh.
Yeah, this actually made me think twice. And his legs are thick. All right. His arms are a lot thicker. His shoulders are a lot thicker. And then look at the space between the glasses and the hat. There's at least like this much. It's up on this part of the hat. I don't know where my hat is. Do you remember? And I think there's a reason why before the preliminary hearing, we never saw really good recent photos of Lance. They showed us thin, feminine photos of Lance for multiple reasons. Okay, to sell us the narrative that he was a gay, furry, trans lover of Tyler Robinson, but also probably because they knew these were coming out eventually. And I don't even think the guy down in Texas filling up the X35 or whatever the Infinity car was, Q35, X35, whatever it was an Infinity, and then walking in with the backpack, I don't think that's the same dude that we saw in the Zoom testimony video. Doesn't look the same to me. But both of those guys, nonetheless, were burly, bigger, thicker, stockier, broader shoulders, wider, bigger chest than Tyler Robinson. All you'd have to do, and the argument could be made, while he thinned out while in jail. Nah, go look at his original booking photo and what he looked like when they had him in that flak jacket, that bulletproof vest. He was not like built. Okay. He's always kind of been a little frail and thin, gangly. Okay. It's just his build. This person is not. Why is it everything? And I'm just using my objective brain. I'm not biased in this. I'm not trying to arrive at a conclusion that I've already decided in. I'm really not. I have no incentive to find Tyler Robinson innocent. I don't. Neither does Barron and neither does Candace. And I don't think anyone else on our side does either. I think we just honestly believe that when we look at everything, that's just the conclusion we arrive at. That's just what we arrive at. All I ask is this. If you can just show me one thing, you'd sway me a little bit. Just give me one piece. If I ever see evidence that's definitive and concrete that Tyler did this, I've said it and I'll say it again. I'll apologize and I'll admit that I was wrong. But we're so far in this and we're past the prelim. If it existed, it would already be out. They're not saving, like other people have argued, their best evidence. They're saving it. They're saving it for the trial. So they'll risk not going to trial. They'll risk saving evidence, not show it in prelim, risk not meeting probable cause, risk the judge saying you didn't meet the burden. Bye. No. Sorry. Not to mention, you can't just leave out evidence. Can't just leave out evidence. Pretty sure that's a Brady violation. I forget if that's what it's called, but you have to show the defense what evidence you intend to present, what evidence you've collected, what evidence you're going to use. They can't withhold evidence from the defense. So it doesn't exist, ladies and gentlemen.
And I want to be clear, we did not edit these in any way.
I know.
Okay? This is no editing. We're not making him, it's not compressed. This is Tyler Robinson?
No. No, it's not.
Second thing I'm going to show you is, again, he appears to be left-handed. Okay, my government source says that he takes his phone out of his left pocket and then puts an earpiece into his left ear. Oh, okay. That government source feels confident that this person is left-handed. Wow, what a silly mistake, right? You plan everything and then just...
My wife said the same thing. She said the exact same thing. Wait, let's... Huh. I missed this today. Lance Twiggs is left-handed? Holy smokes. That's crazy. What do you know? What do you know? I didn't know that. I missed that part. I was building something for my wife when we were listening to this. I'll tell you this much. I've never eaten with a fork out of my left hand. I just can't do it. I'm not ambidextrous. I'm right-handed. It's just the hand I used my fork. Okay. But nuts. All right, let's continue.
That's kind of interesting there.
It is. I agree.
Like you're either albino in September.
All right. So yeah, this looks like he has something under his hat, just like the other one did as well. And when you compare that to the photos that we saw just a couple moments ago of the actual Tyler Robinson with the Hurley hat, it's like all the way down, even with the glasses. That's not how this person's wearing it. You can see the skin of the forehead in between.
And this is the first time you've ever in your life, look, this is a better, because you can see now he's out of the sun. Just take a look at that.
That is sitting up on top of the head. That is weird.
It looks to us like sports leggings, like soccer socks pulled up. What does that?
Oh, that's a good point. Hold on. I didn't notice that. Huh. I actually know what it is. All right. So if you want to identify his skin tone, look at his arms and look at his neck. All right. That, and yes, you can see his bicep is a little bit lighter skin color, but I'll tell you this, in September, that means he went through the entire summer in Utah, 90, 100-degree weather, and you're saying he never wore shorts? Clearly wears shorts. Lots of times we see him in shorts. But why are his legs from the knee, from like above the knee down, white? So we have they're called like Spanx or spats or whatever. So when we do jujitsu, they're also called leggings, right? Not like Lululemon, not the thick ones. They're really, really thin. We wear them when we do no-gi jujitsu. Some people don't. I do. You even wear them under your gi when you're doing gi jujitsu. But you can have white ones, you can have red ones, you can have camo colored, green, black. What he's wearing looks like white leggings. Okay, and it's like made out of like rash guard material. That's what it looks like, or on his legs. It doesn't match his arms. This is supposed to be September 10th in Utah. So that's the end, towards the end of summer. You're saying somebody would argue, well, no, his legs are just lighter. He wore pants the entire summer. Really? The entire summer. Okay. He's as white as Casper. Those legs are as white as Casper, the friendly ghost. Why doesn't it even match his bicep color? It's like it's clearly he's wearing something.
You can see now he's out of the sun. Just take a look at that.
Oh, my nose.
It looks to us like sports leggings,
yes.
Like soccer socks pulled up.
Leggings. Because if they were soccer socks pulled up, then they wouldn't end. They would end like right here, but they're like, I guess they could be really, really high soccer socks and they come up to like here. But then you're dealing with them falling down. Okay. And you're like pulling them up. But spats, they're like basically like pants, but like really tight. You wear them like underwear, almost like underneath, and they're not going to fall down. So that's what I think that is. There's a better photo or video.
His glasses. We could say that definitively. What's under there? Why would you wear your hat like that? You're going to commit a crime. You see, in the other staircase up, they show him looking down. So we assume it's low, but it's not. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm doing this for transparency.
I love Candace.
I got to tell you, it never really made sense to me, the story.
Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Of Tyler Robinson changing just his shorts. That was the story, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that we reflect so you can really understand where we are at in terms of the Tyler Robinson narrative, okay? As it currently stands, they want us to believe that Tyler Robinson slept at home and then woke himself up before 4 a.m. on September 10th of 2025 because he had to leave his house in St. George before 4 a.m. to make it up to campus when they then catch him on walking by the neighbor's house at 8:07 a.m. That's that TMZ released footage.
Right.
8:07 a.m. So I want you to picture him waking up, putting on his favorite maroon shirt
And
with some
shorts.
gray shorts. He then makes the 4-hour drive from St.
Yeah, I don't buy it either. All right, I want to go to this with Detective Hull, because I think this was interesting as well.
Ask the police officer a question. Listen to what Agent Hull says. Don't watch. Listen to how he describes it.
Now, what do we see?
That vehicle's now pulling away and heading east on 800 South.
And why do you believe that that vehicle was Mr. Robinson's vehicle?
When that vehicle was stopped, it actually made contact with an officer who was doing security detail.
And do you know who that officer is?
Officer Goforth.
When that vehicle stopped, it actually made contact with an officer that was doing security.
I'm so sorry that my allergies are going crazy. There's been fires up here, if you haven't noticed, up in Spokane. So I'm sorry if I'm bothering you guys by itching my nose. I'm trying to not. How come they didn't bring Officer Goforth on the stand to testify about what happened? Is it because he'd be subject to cross-examination? Yes, that's why. My goodness. They misrepresent the evidence they say they have, right? They initially told us that, that they stopped Tyler Robinson. You heard the words. Words are important. Words have meaning. They're specific. Tyler made contact with the officer, not the other way around.
Detail. That sounds to me like Tyler stopped his vehicle and he made contact with the security detail. That's got some bravado, I gotta say. We have not seen any footage from that. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I wish that we'd see footage, body cam footage, or we could have Officer Goforth on the stand. Why didn't they bring him on the stand? All right, let's go here, because I have something I want to. Well, I don't want to see his underwear. Let's go here,
because he is walking. But then she discovered that in the high-res photos, it appears that George Zinn has some sort of a device that's fallen. And somebody may recognize this. It may really be nothing, and I'm not familiar with it, but that's what the close-up of it is.
All right. So I took a picture, and then I made it to where it's just the picture. And I threw it up in ChatGPT, and I asked what it is. And let me go here. Let's see if that's up. What's really interesting is, yes, the images it shares isn't exactly the same. All right. But that's not the point. All right. Like, I described what it looked like when I uploaded the photo and explained that it's like thick. It has a handle on it. This is what it said it thinks it is. You're right. My first identification was wrong. Looking at the scale, thickness, and especially the oversized carry handle, this appears much more like a ruggedized field computing digital forensic unit, not an iPad in a case. That's what it tried to say in the beginning. Like, you're an idiot. One strong possibility, listen to the company, is possibly Cellbrite style mobile forensic extraction device. Really? A Cellbrite, that's the company that took supposedly the data. They used Cellbrite to take surveillance and the data footage, the data information off of Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson's phone. Interesting. Cellbrite style mobile forensic extraction device. Cellbrite's older UFED systems were built as a thick, portable computers for law enforcement, military, and forensic investigators, with rugged housings, substantial carrying hardware, touch screen displays, and connections for phones and other digital devices. They were specifically designed to extract data from smartphones and tablets. Interesting. That said, I don't think the object in your photo is an exact match for the UFID touchscreen picture. Neither do I, but I think it is pretty compelling, especially when I talk about George Zinn and what George Zinn, like what role he played and what role he played in other events like 9/11. And, you know, I don't think he was at Boston bombing, but like it's referenced that he said something about it, or I don't remember what it was, but he wasn't there. But yeah, so hopefully she's able to get people from the audience that know more to reach out to her and point her in the right direction. It's not a freaking iPad, I'll tell you that. Yeah, like we don't even know that screen on it is actually what it is, or that it's made to look like that, you know? And then I think there's one other thing that I wanted to cover. Oh, no. Then she goes into the whole Andrew Wilson thing and Andrew Wilson's wife, which you guys probably saw all of that. So now what I want to do is, how long is this? Here. All right. No, not that one. Hold on. Do you guys remember this guy? This guy's connected to, whoa, no. This guy looks a lot like this guy. And he was the kid that was with, I want to say like Phil Lyman's family that went back to UVU after. I think I'm right about that. I got to remember. I remember his face, but he was with like a couple guys that went back and retraced the steps of the shooter and like walked in the stairwell and took photos. And I don't know, dude, it looks the same to me. And this is from the Adam Bartholomew video, the one on the left. But the one I wanted to show, I'll get to these, but hold on. No, so it's this way. I just want to not forget a couple things, right? Dan Flood, super sus guy. These are the photos that I wanted to pull up. That one's blurry. Where's the one with the tent? There it is. But can I zoom in? Oh, I don't have my thing. That's going to be so small for you guys. So this is that morning. All right. The morning of, it's on the screen, right? Yeah. All right. This is the morning of 9/10. All right. Charlie right now would be on his way to the entrepreneur interview. All right. You have Rick Cutler here. You have Dan Flood and Brian Harple. Why are they directing people on where to set up the tent? That doesn't make sense to me, right? And then this is another security guard here. That's the big burly guy that's here. And I can't see the front of these guys' faces. I can't tell who these. I remember this guy. He's in another photo, but I don't remember his name. But this is Rick Cutler. And then we have Dan Flood and Brian Harple. Why aren't they with Charlie? So if I recall, what's his name? Blake said that Brian and Dan were with Charlie at the entrepreneur interview. Can't be in two places at once. You know what I mean? Can't be in two places at once. Oops. Let me pull this down. It's not letting me exit it. And then let's see. Yeah, and this was Muppet Masher that found these photos, right? And yeah, here's another one. Don't forget what it looked like before and what it looked like after, right? And they want you to believe that this is normal, that you just cover up a crime scene within 4 days and no suspicious things happen here. You just try to make that make sense for me. You just can't. All right. And yeah, I'm just wanting to remind of some of the craziness that happened, right? Because they want to make us all feel like we're crazy and we're stupid. They had, in my opinion, crisis actors come out right away.
We were like second row. We were just looking up and we see, he was debating about shooting, and He's talking about it, and then we hear a shot, and then just a wave of blood come out of his chest.
You just see like hit his chest, and then just blood squirted out of him.
During, right on that topic, yeah, it's when he got shot in the heart.
Okay, yeah, I was there and I watched the shooting. It looked like that he got hit. A direct shot right to the heart. As soon as he was hit, he fell backwards.
Sorry, I have a cough drop. Who are these people? I know the Fed sloppers are going to make an argument. That's not what they meant. They're clearly mistaken. One dude said he was second row. A lot of them said that they were like up in the front. They're obviously referencing the shirt movement. They said straight in the heart. They said that they then saw the blood come out from the chest. Huh. That's not what we saw. And then they were forced, at least the young blonde and her friend were then forced to get back out there and fix the record. We were wrong. We just misremembered. Kind of like Phil Lyman and Jeff Jacoby. They just had all these people ready to go. Hunter Kozak. It's all just one big coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to see here. You're evil. You're demonic. We'll pray for you. You need to be saved. You're the worst for noticing. All right. Now, what I want to do is, where's it at? Here we go. We're going to go here. Now, in lead up to Friday, Michael Knowles came out and made a video of why he's not going to moderate the debate between Candace and Andrew. I'm going to show a little bit of that, and then we're also going to look at some things that like the normal cast of characters have been saying this week and last week regarding Candace Owens, regarding Andrew Wilson, regarding the debate, regarding it all. And you decide if that, like, they're all getting talking points and they're all being given orders to do these things. Cause like, if you guys, do you guys remember when that like compilation video where they showed like all the different news stations from all over the country on the same day about the same story, and they're all saying the exact same words? Clearly, like, there's some sort of hierarchy where somewhere up here writes the script and then sends it to everybody, and then the talking heads get out there and just bleh. Nothing's changed with that approach. Now they are just adding this new layer of it, trying to not seem that way by having people that aren't on an official station on behalf of an official network in an official capacity. It's just people in a podcast studio in their house or maybe at a real studio, but they're just normal people. They're independent journalists. They're social media personalities. They wouldn't lie. They can't be bought. Come on, just believe that. Shame on you for noticing. I like Michael Knowles, though, but let's hear his reason.
On the last show, I woke up Friday morning to the news that I had been invited to moderate a debate on the murder of my friend Charlie Kirk between Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens. Andrew had suggested me as moderator, and Candace accepted, and then they started arranging the details of the debate. There was just one person they forgot to ask. From what I've gathered, the debate apparently involves big money, hundreds of thousands of dollars raised as prize money or something. I'm actually not totally sure what the purpose of the money is. I think I'm even being offered a cut. In any case, after giving it serious consideration over the weekend, I will be declining the invitation. The whole internet seems to think this debate will be must-see content.
Okay, sorry guys. I cannot see the live chat when I'm doing this. I have, in order for me to make sure I'm caught up on like, well, I guess if I'm not reading the super chats anymore during the show, I don't have to have that tab open. It's a separate tab that I click on so that I can know when the super chats come in. But now that I'm doing the super chats at the end, like everyone else, I guess I don't have to have that tab open. So I missed the part that you guys all think. I did think it was huge too. The Cellbrite info. Let's go back to that. Do you guys want squirrel? A shiny thing, or like a cat The cat's like the red dot, you know, the laser dot. Matt, look at the chat. We think the Cellbrite info is huge. I agree. Yes, you guys think it's huge? I do too. I do too. You want me to read more of it? Is that what you're saying? Or you guys want to talk about it? Also, it just was like, I don't have the ability yet to determine if that's what it is. I guess, okay, I can pull it up too. We can like look at it and then, yeah, if you guys, I can send it to the tip line too, to Candace. I just figured she has like, how many people that watch her live show? I'm sure I'm not the only one that maybe came upon this information. So let's see. So this is the image. And it's made to look like it's just a traditional like phone or iPad with those little apps on there, but that's not what it is. Like that, I think that's just like a cover. I don't think that's what it looks like. And then like these are older pieces, right? So it's not a 1-for-1. They don't look exactly the same. But you have SIM data extraction, file system extraction, device tools, physical extraction, cloning someone's SIM, password extraction. Yeah, this is a Cellbrite UFED touchscreen. Here's another one, and you could even have a cell phone plugged into it. And that's what, like, if we go back, right, this image could be some sort. Look how thick it is, that he could have a phone plugged in, and that's what we're looking at the screen to, a phone, but like the rest of it is underneath. Look at how thick this handle is back here. You know what I mean? Or is that his belt that's hanging? Because I see it hanging down here too. It looks like it bends. Is that his belt? I mean, it's still a very, very thick device, and I can't really make sense of what this and this is. It's not a phone. Like, you say what you want. It's not a freaking iPad. It's not a phone. And Cellbrite is super sus, you guys. You know? Gosh, that looks like a freaking Game Boy. This is an older one. Let's look up. Let's see. I said, what are UFEDs used for in the field in a covert operation? If you're talking specifically about a Cellbrite UFID, Universal Forensic Extraction Device, being deployed in the field, its purpose is mobile device forensics, not general communications or surveillance. Cellbrite and an NIJ evaluation describe ruggedized UFED systems as equipment intended for field use by law enforcement, military, government, and security organizations. Okay, look into ATAC Tech. Okay, hold on. Acquire data from a phone immediately rather than transporting it to a forensic laboratory. Interesting. You can clone someone's device. Holy smokes. What if somebody like Lance Twiggs or whoever is in the maroon shirt took Tyler Robinson's phone? Okay, I'll look into the ATAC unit. Hold on. Took Tyler Robinson's phone. That's why the person's on campus in the morning. That's why he's got like a phone and possibly even two phones. And same with Eagle Boy, has two phones. And they give it to George Zinn before. George Zinn was there early. George Zinn was there all morning. Maybe that's who the patsy, not Tyler, but whoever the maroon shirt guy was, we can call it Lance Twiggs, maybe, gave him the phone. It gets cloned. Once you clone a phone, now you can use that device on behalf. You make a version of a copy of the phone, and now you can send text messages. You can go on Discord if you have the login information, or if the login information is saved to that device. Interesting. Well, that's why you worry about Andrew Wilson going into Candace's home. I mean, that's a good point. Hopefully the security team searches him like so good. Maybe even puts him through a metal detector. All right. Let me keep reading, and then I'll look up ATAC. Immediately, rather than transporting it into a forensic laboratory. Extract things such as messages, contacts, call information, photographs, videos, application data, and other files depending on the device and extraction method. It can perform logical file system or physical full file system extractions where supported. Work with more than phones, Cellbrite, lists, SIM cards, SD cards, GPS devices, drones. Holy smokes. It could even, tap into drones and other digital devices among supported evidence sources. Preserve a forensic acquisition so investigators can subsequently analyze the copy while maintaining the integrity of the original evidence. That's interesting. Maybe they needed to make a copy of the phone, do the things that they had to do to it so that, anything else Tyler did and wouldn't show up. And that's what all they wanted to show up. Use a ruggedized hardware specifically so that this can happen at an operational location rather than a digital forensic lab. Cellbrite has explicitly marketed its touch hardware for the lab or field. I'm going to look up ATAC. Wait, let me look up what that said. Hold on. All right, hold on. Oh, I'll just go. Let me go here. Matt, my info tells me it might be an ATAC unit. All right, let me look up what an ATAC unit is. I asked it to look up what an ATAC unit is with image. All right. Hopefully this is still on the screen. You guys can see it. All right. All right. An ATAC unit usually isn't one particular piece of hardware. ATAC equals Android Team Awareness Kit. Originally, Android Tactical Assault Kit, software developed within the U.S. government ecosystem that runs on Android phones, tablets, often inside rugged tactical cases. Okay. Here are examples of an ATAC unit. I can't show that one because the guy's got a gun. Oh, that's already too big. I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's interesting. ATAC essentially gives operators shared digital operational map depending on configuration and connected equipment. And it can provide GPS positions of team members, maps, satellite imagery, waypoints and targets, messaging, photographs, videos, sensor information, and other operational data. Devices can communicate through cellular Wi-Fi and can also interface through plugins with external networks such as SATCOM and MANET tactical radios. Interesting. Department of Homeland Security, law enforcement, military use this. First responders and other organizations as well. There's also a civilian ATAC version. I said, let me see the civilian ATAC version. This is the ATAC Civ. Interesting. Interesting. Wow, and we did have planes flying over that day. Surveillance planes. We do know drones were there that day. You'd want to know where, you'd want to account where everyone is on the operational battlefield that day. Holy smokes. I definitely think it looks more like the first one, the Cellbrite. It's bulkier. I guess so. There could be other things underneath it. It could be either or. It could be both. There could be multiple units in there. You know what I mean? We got to get some of this information to Candace to look into the Cellbrite UFED or the ATAC unit. I'm reading something. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Let me go back to here. Well, let me see where the chat is at. Matt, Candace Owens email tonight. Okay. Can you guys put, what is her tips one? It's Candace Owens tips. Can you guys write that in here real quick? What is her email? The tips email. Can you write it in the chat real quick? 3 Matt. What is 3 Matt stacked together? Hey, made you miss it. Hey, Vassy. Good to see you. Made a short on X and we can all tag her. Great. Great. For like the Cellbrite and the ATAC. Good job, Vassy. There are 3. It's not a Cellbrite. Okay, but it could be. I mean, like, just because what we see on that screen on his waistband, because it looks like a modern like phone, they're going to have something to make it look like that to the average person around. They're not going to have their Cellbrite screen or their ATAC screen on the outside. They need it to kind of look, you know, innocent and normal. All right. Just because you saw just normal, you know, iPhone apps or iPod apps on there, those little icons, doesn't mean that that's not sort of like some screensaver or some like cover that's made to look like that. Obviously, I said it's not a 1-to-1, that it doesn't look exactly like the Cellbrite images that we had. Those are older technology Cellbrites. Also, we don't know what like a modern one that's fitted for the field, you know, it's just, but the technology, what it said it does, what the ATAC says it does, that's interesting. Yeah, the Hades plane that flew over as well. And there were drone systems, yes. Brandon Johnson. What message? It is, I saw it. He said it's not a Cellbrite, but is that all you wanted me to see? 3 could be stacked together. Yeah, I saw that. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Yeah, that's one. Okay. Hi, Vassy. Good to see you. Good to see you. I just read your hi, Matt. Did Matt see the email? What email? Hold on. Someone sent me an email? Oh, no. Yeah, Candace's email. Yes, I saw it. Yeah, more tips at CandaceOwens.com. Hold on. Let me write it down real quick. Bro, all of this like surveillance stuff has made me think again about, do you guys remember that company that showed up, Zero Ghost phones? We all need one of those. I also just saw Tucker Carlson have this guy on about surveillance. I can't really play Tucker. It just, all my videos get dinged when I play Tucker. So I got Benny Johnson is back. What do you mean? He did a show today or what? Send me it. I didn't see any of Benny Johnson today on YouTube. What are expensive? Oh, the Zero Ghost phones. Yeah, but it comes with it already on it, like ready to go. I mean, wait, these phones are expensive. These things are thousands of dollars to get one of these. You can't even pay for it. I'm paying this thing off, you know? But yeah, I'd rather have a phone that can protect me, you know? You got what? Okay. Matt got 2 of the things I said. Email Candace Owens tonight. I think there are 3 stacked together. Okay, I saw both. Okay. Yeah. MD Hall. Yeah, I think you're right that there's like 2 or 3 of something stacked. It could be 2 Cellbrites, 1 Cellbrite, 1 ATAC. There could be something else in there that we don't know. It's like that thick, that thing in his hip, you know? What happened to the stage riser? What do you mean what happened to it? What's happened to the stage riser? I don't know what you mean by that. If it's an ATEC, it could be used in drone control. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's why I think it probably was multiple devices. The thing that I said about the stage riser that he was sitting on, it could have been a couple things because it's been posited that maybe he was electrocuted, so he's not grounded. None of him is touching the ground. Also, he's sitting down in this amphitheater. The person on the roof, right, never comes far enough to the edge of the Losi Center in order to get the 9-degree angle in order to get line of sight. But they don't need to prove that with that junky surveillance footage. All they're going to say is that he had line of sight, right? But they're going to need to put what they're going to do. They know how tall Charlie is. They're going to measure with the chair up there how tall Charlie is, where his neck is. They're going to it's going to be a science when they forensically remake the scene. The person laying down on the roof, and they're going to need to be able to get a direct line of sight to that part of Charlie's neck. And they're going to have to be able to go over anyone that was in the crowd, right? Without the bullet having, come in contact with anyone else before it makes it to Charlie. If Charlie was seated on the ground and he's back, right, under the tent, there's tables around him, and he's back and he's on the ground and he's just seated on the ground. All of the people in the audience, especially there might be people that block the line of sight. The only way to guarantee that, because you don't know how tall people are going to show up. You don't know who's going to be in front. You can try your best to manage that. But to guarantee that, you'd want to put him on a platform, right? Because he's not standing, he's sitting. So putting him on a platform puts him up higher is a better guarantee that they'll be able to recreate that and prove that there was direct line of sight from the Losi Center roof. That was one of my reasons. And to get him off of the ground, no grounding. So, yeah. My eye. Let's see. I think because of some of the, oh no, it better not. My contact is fogging up. Hold on. I'm not crying, I swear. Hold up. I always worried that one of my contacts is going to fold over and get stuck in my eye during a show, and I'm going to freak out and not be able to see. And I have to on camera be get my contact back in. Oh my gosh, I better not speak that into existence. All right. Stop it. All right. Let's see. I actually want to cover some of these because I think some of them had something to do with everything that we were talking about. And I think that's important. So let me do some of these right now. Thank you for the gift, Deborah. KB in the USA, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the team. Anna, thank you for the jammin'. Rebellious Flower, I like the GOAT trophy. Thank you. Tiny Loves Boston, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the team. Carmen San Diego, thank you for the jewels. Carmen San Diego, again, thank you for the jewels. Zamit, did you see me? I said hi to you today in Candace Owens' chat. I was there in the beginning. I saw you give a super chat. I tagged you, and I was like, what is up, Zamit? Her chat moves so fast. I can't tell if you saw me or not. Hunter Kozak showed less emotion in the interview yesterday than Ted Bundy. Yeah, very unsettling. yeah, he laughed, he mocked, he ridiculed, he was condescending, he was dismissive. In my opinion, that dude's guilty. I was on an X space where other creators were playing it and like talking about it. And because I had watched it like twice through, I was in there as one of the speakers. And somebody made a picture of him and it said like, I am a wussy, but with the P word. But it's him like this. And he's like, eh. And I tagged him and I retweeted it because he is a wussy, dude. He's a big wussy. And he had the audacity to say that Charlie Kirk was scared to debate people like him or Dean or Parker, who are bad faith, not good human beings. End of story. Okay. Charlie Kirk never shied away from a debate. Never. But he's not going to debate someone that's never going to engage in good faith debate. Ever. What's the point of that? These people, when he sat down at Jubilee, when he ever engaged with them, they were like horrendous, like just childish, petty. Not to mention the campus events was Charlie trying to reach the lost boys of this generation. He believed deep in his heart that this system, our education system, indoctrinates people, brainwashes people, lies, creates versions of our, citizenry that go on to ruin our country. And his goal in doing campus events was to reach them where they're at, not to debate with adult men, right? That have already dug their feet into their position and their ground, like their beliefs, so that they can come steal the mic, not give the mic up, yell, interrupt, talked over Charlie. Every time he engaged with Parker and Dean and Hunter before, that's all they did. He wasn't there for them. That's not what this was for. It was to show the Christian youth you can defend your beliefs honorably. You should not shy away from the debate with your teachers, with your peers. It's okay to be Christian. It's okay to believe that abortion is wrong. It's okay to believe in freedom of speech. It's okay to believe in, the right to bear arms. Even if a tragic school shooting happens, it's okay to still believe in the right to bear arms. Don't be ashamed of your Christian beliefs and your Christian values. Don't be ashamed about being a proud American. He was trying to show the youth how to do it honorably. He was also trying to reach the other side to show them the error and flaws in their logic that their professors have been feeding them. That's what the campus events were for. They weren't for you, Hunter. I know you and Dean and Parker think everything's about you. This wasn't about you. It wasn't even about Charlie. It was about those students. Something you could never think of, bro, because you're only thinking about yourself. Thank you for the gift, Carmen. Thank you, Michael, for the gift. The chat said to look into ATAC tech. I did, and it's the exact technology. It's definitely an exact technology that could have been used on that day. It doesn't look exactly like the device on George Zinn's waist, but I believe that he probably had like multiple devices on his waist that day. And I think he could be the Cellbrite and the ATAC, because there were drones and there was surveillance planes that flew over that day. But I also think like cloning someone's phone, stealing, copying someone's SIM card, extracting someone's cell phone data would be pretty important, especially if you're going to frame somebody. Matt, my info tells me it might be an ATAC unit. You'll have to look it up for the details. Thank you for that. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you for the gift, Lori. Evelyn Strube, white curtain behind Charlie Kirk jerks from pellet in Bray's FTEPI video. If it's one of John Bray's videos, is it on YouTube or on X? I might not be able to show it. Does it what do you mean by curtain? White curtain? You mean like the banner behind Charlie? You'll have to tell me if it's not during the shooting and I can look it up. I mean, if it's during, I can't look it up. Charlie Kirk's golden parachute equals 3 bullets, but only 1 was heard? What do you mean? Charlie Kirk's golden parachute. Like his safety net, the thing that saved him? 3 bullets, but only 1 was heard. You believe he was shot with 3 bullets? You gotta help me with more. I don't know what that means. Yes, Matt, thanks. Saw you were connecting the truth dots. Thank you so much, Samet. I like you so much. XX Murdex. Did it not let you write what you wanted to write? You could have wrote something, even just what up. Thank you, XX Murdex. Evelyn, okay. Note that none of Charlie Kirk's security team flinched or ducked. They'd been told he'd only be tranked, then revived in the ER. I've heard that as a possibility that that some of the people, like even Mikey and Terrell and, you know, a lot of the people there were told that they were going to like fake Charlie's death. But then like Israel found out about it and took him out anyway. It's possible. That's not where I end up. From what I've seen, I mean, I guess you could even explain that them trying to cover everything up after the fact could be that they think that they could be proven to be accomplices because everything they did leading up to it looks like they were trying to murder him, but it was them trying to fake the murder. And the same evidence that was going to be, you know, that could be used to show that they were faking it could also be used to imply that they were part of it. So I get that. It's possible. I don't know what the threat would have been to. Did Charlie know? Are you saying that you think Charlie knew and was part of the faking? What did he think was going to happen if he didn't fake his death? And what was he told would be the outcome if he did fake his death? How was Lance Twiggs's DNA stronger on the rifle? No, it wasn't. Lance Twiggs's DNA isn't on the rifle. It's been like largely misrepresented. Lance Twiggs's DNA is on everything but the rifle. Okay, I got corrected. I used to say the same thing. Then I was in X Spaces and this guy was like, "You're a liar. You're making it up. You don't know what you're talking about." And then we all looked it up and we're like, "Oh, it's not. Lance Twiggs's DNA is not on the rifle. It's on the screwdriver, it's on the towel, and it's on the Dremel tool that was like used to catch this fascist, notice his bulges, whatever." How is Lance Twiggs's DNA stronger on the rifle if Tyler allegedly had it down his pants while on the roof? There would be nothing but Tyler Robinson's DNA on the gun. So I agree with that. Even without Lance Twiggs's DNA being on it, any of the DNA found on the rifle, Tyler's should have been the strongest. I agree, and it wasn't. I also believe that just because... So here's the thing. There was no gun down anyone's pants. Eagle Boy in those photos walking down the steps, there's no gun. You can see the outline of the phone in his right pocket. He's got another phone and keys in his left. They're too skinny. It's a massive Mauser. It's thick. Even if they took it apart, then he's going to have half of it down one, half of it down the other. He forgets which leg to bend and which one to keep straight. There's nothing down his pants. That person doesn't have a rifle on him at all. They want you to think there is. And early on, they said, oh, it's in his backpack. No, it's not. A Mauser is 42 or 45 to 49 inches. I've seen multiple guys break it down as far as it can go. It's still, the barrel and the buttstock will stick out of any backpack. Any normal, even like large, but basically normal backpack. There's no weapon on Eagle Boy when he enters campus and when he goes on the roof. You never see it on the surveillance footage of him walking down the stairs, through the tunnel, up the stairs. You don't see any rifle on the Losi Center roof, not when he's running out, not when he's low crawling in the prone, not when he's running and jumping off. You don't see a rifle. So I believe that rifle was planted and that Lance wore gloves. He made sure that he never touched it within the months leading up. He knew it was Tyler's. Tyler had to have touched it in the recent future. He probably didn't realize that he needed him to touch it a lot the day before. But how weird would that have been, living with Tyler and Lance like trying to get Tyler to touch it? Like, hey, dude, can you show me your weapon? You want to clean it together? Can you show me how fast you could take it down? Trying to get Tyler to touch it recently. Yeah, he had been practicing, and I guess they tell us part of the narrative is that he was training. That's where those like shooting targets come in. That he was preparing to go hunting and fishing with his like dad, brother, and grandfather. But Tyler was much more of a fisher than a hunter. His brother was the hunter. But can you imagine like Lance trying to make sure that Tyler's DNA was on the rifle, trying to get him to touch the rifle without being suspicious, and then realizing he didn't touch it. And so all the DNA that was on there from Tyler Robinson is the oldest DNA. You know, not the best psyop. All right, let's get back to what we were doing.
And I'm sure it will be. I bet it'll get zillions of views. That is, in fact, why I'm declining. I'm gratified that the debaters think I have the right temperament to moderate. I try to be judicious, not get too emotional, not call people names, and so on. But in many ways, I'm probably the single worst person to moderate this debate, because for 10 or 11 months now, I have been very possibly the only person on the internet who has consistently maintained that our friend's murder should not be used for podcast content. On the debate matter itself, I've said many times, I think the evidence is pretty clear that Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie. But that fact alone would not preclude me from moderating.
Can you tell me what evidence that you're using to come to that conclusion? Because in the beginning of this episode, I covered it all, and none of it points to Tyler. The only way that it points to Tyler is by Lance saying it points to Tyler. The prosecution saying it points to Tyler. Evidence by itself, we should be able to look at and go, oh, yeah, that's him. They should be able to verify in any of the surveillance footage a clear photo of him. Not one. His vehicle doesn't even seem to have the same kit. The body kit, different exhaust pipes, different. Not even one photo of the license plate. Text messages, Discord. Can we get one thing verified with metadata? And then not to mention, Tyler was down in Penguich at the Cowboy Steakhouse when he's supposedly back in Orem texting his lover, you know, hopefully the dog has a bad sniffer, waiting to retrieve my rifle still, my love. I can't. There's still a cop over there by the rifle. Yeah, because that's what you do. Yeah. You get away with it, throw it all away. Then you go back to the scene. And then you ask a cop, you stop a cop and you talk to him. Yeah, that makes sense.
Everyone has opinions, doesn't mean you can't be fair. The bigger issue is that even if I didn't think Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie, I am certainly convinced that the guilt for Charlie's murder should be adjudicated with gravity and sobriety in a court of law, rather than in an Ouroboros of endless, not to mention lucrative podcasts.
What if the court is not doing their job? What if the prosecution seems to be dishonest and jumping and arriving at conclusions and then making the evidence fit those conclusions? What do we do then? You still want us to trust the experts? How come in all past incidences, right, they're like, no, we don't trust the government. We question the government. Not here, though. This government, this is the only government we trust. Kash Patel, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Governor Cox, the SBI of Utah. These guys can be trusted. This prosecution can be trusted. Why? They have a history of telling the truth? No. Sure don't. Sure don't.
The only silver lining in the storm cloud of Charlie's murder was the brief unity it brought to the right. You might recall it was very brief. The right came together as leftists at every level of politics revealed their rot and cruelty by justifying and celebrating Charlie's murder, in some cases before his body was even cold. Soon after, however, a cottage industry sprung up of Charlie murder content.
It's convenient you leave out the why, Michael. That's disappointing. How about you tell the why? Do you want to know why Candace and Barron and myself and others decided to do what we did? Because TPUSA wasn't. Because Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, Tyler Boyer, Jack Posobiec, Graham Allen, Erica Kirk, Frank Turek, Rob McCoy, they all came out and lied. They all came out immediately and said, believe the official narrative. Trust the experts. Stop asking questions. Charlie loved Israel every day to the very end. Charlie wasn't afraid for his life. Charlie wasn't experiencing any pressure from his donors. Charlie loved Bibi. He wasn't abandoning the pro-Israel cause. He didn't send out some text saying that she's part of the prosecution. She's seen all the evidence. Everything points to Tyler. Case closed. Stop. Just stop. That's why. Why can't you be honest, Michael? Today, I lost respect for you watching this. At least what you could have done is at least be honest as to why. Candace didn't do this in the beginning. In fact, initially, she came out in defense of TPUSA. She defended the security team because it hadn't crossed her mind that everyone around him could have been part of this. That's like another level of evil. That his wife, his coworkers, his peers, his friends, his security team could have done anything to be part of this or just been extremely negligent. She was dealing with grief, trauma, loss, and it hadn't crossed her mind. It had crossed a lot of our minds. She said that she had been receiving emails and tips to look into these people. She had put it off. But the more and more that they decided to get in front of a camera, turn on one of these, and lie to us, we all said, no, not this time. Not another JFK. Not another 9/11. You're not doing to us what you did with COVID. We're not going to do this with Charlie. And then Trump and JD and Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, and all of them came out and lied to us. They all were his friends. And we were like, what the actual heck? What are we to do, Michael? Sit on our hands? Just take it? Just go home? Shut up. Go back to work. Watch the next Netflix special that comes out. Go spend money. Go to a game. Watch a movie. Don't worry. We'll have another contrived trauma, tragedy, crisis in a week, which they did. We'll take your minds off of it. The news cycle moves fast. They'll move on. But we didn't. And we're not. And we won't. Next time, at least be honest as to why there's been a split in MAGA. Why in the right, there's this massive split that happened in the wake of Charlie's death. It's because all of the people that we expected to tell us the truth about it are all engaging in disinformation, lies, and propaganda, covering it up, in my opinion, also covering up the Jeffy Epstein files, also covering up the war in Iran, also covering up everything in the relationship with Israel, Gaza, October 7th. Charlie was on to that. He was addressing that. You all told him, stop. Shut up. Sit down. Trust us. We got it. And then you took him out, in my opinion. Because it was only a matter of time when he realized you were all lying. And you were all in on it. One thing, you can discredit, slander, accuse Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. You'd already been doing that for years. Try to do that to Charlie. It wouldn't have worked. There was no way you can convince any of us that Charlie was an anti-Semite, that he was a conspiracy theorist, that he had lost his mind, and he was crazy. He's demonic. I think he's psychotic. All the things that you're saying, oh, he's bought by Qatar. Oh, he's a shill for Iran. All the things that you say about Tucker and Candace, you never would have gotten away with it with Charlie, and you freaking know it. You felt like your hands were tied and there was only one thing to do. Because telling the truth and being honest and stop being a megalomaniac, narcissistic, bloodthirsty, hungry pack of vipers, you just double down. We've done it before. So what? Turns out you are always using Charlie for your gain, for your end. You disappoint me, Michael. I could expect this from Brandon Tatum, Crowder. I expected more from you.
Candace, of course, launched her series on the subject, which I've said many times from the beginning I thought was wrong, and I wish she wouldn't do it. But it got lots of views. People found it very interesting. Then all sorts of other podcasters started doing their own shows, full-length shows, weeks of shows, months of shows, about how much they hated Candace's shows about Charlie's murder. And those podcasts got lots of views too. The other group of podcasters' justification was that they wanted to debunk Candace's theories, to get people to stop watching her shows. Many of them, I suspect, had very good intentions. But I said at the time that I thought it was a bad idea, that it would be counterproductive, that we should state our opinions, of course, tell the truth as we see it, but that to obsess over every theory and speculation and provocation not only would not work, but in fact would do more harm than good to everyone and everything other than the view counts and bottom lines of the various podcasters.
I agree with that.
I predicted that this issue would only be resolved in a court of law.
Oh my gosh. When did you guys all start trusting the court system, the government, the administration, the experts, the professionals? At what point did you go, no, they're different now? No. This time it'll be different. When did that happen? Did I miss something? Did Trump actually like weed out all the corruption? No. Who are we supposed to trust, Michael? Give me a break. All right. I don't know. I kind of want to see what else he says. I didn't make it this far.
Opinions would only be changed by the prosecution and the defense. The sort of thing we began to see in the pretrial hearing last month. That all the rest of it was noise at best, and at worst, a very dark form of entertainment. Basically, everyone ignored my opinion. And many.
You thought the preliminary hearing actually proved that Tyler Robinson did it, Michael? Bro, you're smarter than that. What is wrong with all these people? It's like their brain shuts off in this one scenario.
Many people harshly criticized me for suggesting it. But here we are, 11 months later. And despite innumerable podcasts on the subject, the matter has not been resolved. The rancor has gotten worse. The appetite for the Charlie murder industry is higher than ever. So, this debate will be the Super Bowl of Charlie murder content. Millions of people will watch it.
Yeah, I don't. All right, let's move on. So all of these people are friends with like Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire, and I can't help but I can't divorce the two. That their opinions on Candace and all this, whether they claim to be Candace's friend, yet they still all believe the official narrative and want us to trust the experts. They may not be hitting her as hard like Brandon Tatum and Michael Knowles, but they still are in opposition of her and what she's been doing. And Brandon Tatum in the months had said more and more as time went on. I doubt he ever reached out to her. He asked his audience to send her the video of him saying he wants to reach out to her. You have her phone. You eat lunch at her house. Call her. Yeah, not a man.
There was Andrew Wilson, then Rachel Wilson, then Andrew again. So and I say this because everyone kind of sees this one portion because there's a show and then there are clips. They covered AI. They talked about philosophy, religion. They talked about online discourse. And then, of course, what everyone picks up on, and I get it, is the Andy and Candy potential debate, which I think everyone or most people would like to see.
He's talking about the Joe Rogan, Andrew Wilson podcast, which was so ridiculous. Lost a lot of respect for Joe.
Right. But have you noticed, like, the flat earthers have fleets of people who will debate their stances? Like, fleets of them who are like, we can't wait to debate with you on the flat earth. It's like, on the other side, though, in this particular conspiracy, you can't get these people to debate their positions.
You wouldn't debate me. You agreed to debate me, and then you backed out. So, Zach Costello debated you. What are you talking about? But you only needed to say this so that you could try to make Candace debate you. Well, she is. She sure is. Let me move past all the smoking.
Third-party debate con or something. I said, sure. And then they said, well, Candace said, no. I said, well, she can have mine. I'll do it for free. And then we offered to do it on the show when she called me out, implied that I was a Fed. No response yet. I'm not going to do it back and forth with a bunch of different terms. And you fly here. And we just like, look, we know how to do this. We're all adults. We used to do this all the time. We don't need to change all the rules. Candace, however, decided to respond to Andrew's challenge and seemed to put in some ultra specifics.
For everyone who was like me and legitimately did not know who this man was 5 minutes ago, Andrew.
So bottom line, we saw that part, right? And she agrees to debate him. And Patrick Crowder goes on to try to make fun of her like he's done on multiple shows. He did it when she released the surveillance rooftop footage, and him and his cronies mocked her, laughed at her, and called her stupid. We all saw the same footage. They were making fun of her because she said the guy did a lateral low crawl. He did. We saw the Army guy training some of cadets, whatever you call them, soldiers. It's different in the Marine Corps. We're Marines. You don't call us soldiers. It was what it was, and then you guys all made fun of her. That's like what you do. Like most of us, the majority of us in the public, like watch her and go like, Yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree. We don't agree with everything that she said and done. There's been plenty of people that have disagreed with her on things. I disagreed with her when she said she was 100% sure that he was shot from the front with a bullet. I don't agree with that. I also think she's probably been lied to and fed information and disinformation, and that was early on in the investigation. And she wasn't yet as skeptical and suspicious of all the people around Charlie just yet. So, but the things that hit that I go like, that makes sense. I see that too. That's what we agree with. She doesn't she's not like our fearless leader that we, take everything she says as gospel truth. It just happens to be that most of the things she says and points out, we do agree with. At least I do, All right. Let's go. Wait, is this the one? I think this is. Yeah, let's see. Don't hate me if I got the timestamp wrong. There's like multiple videos of this jerk and his little crony. So I think it's right. Wait, why is that? That's not. Okay, there we go.
No. Whether you can drive or not, you're still a sophomore in high school, buddy. There ain't no.
Get your butt home before I go to bed.
Get your butt home. Yeah, like if you think that I'm going to bed.
Oh, he's talking about his son. That's not it. It was son being able to drive the car. All of his thumbnails look the same, okay? I think I clicked on the wrong one. This isn't, he's talking about AOC not being able to, or whatever, the whole thing. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
You've had over 200 of them get elected throughout.
All right, I'll go right up to the Michael Knowles part.
This is Michael Knowles responding to this. Let's go.
Oh, we already heard that part. Let's hear them, what they say after they finish playing him. Right here.
Showtime tomorrow. Happy Sunday. So we'll find out today if he is going to do it or not, if they have a debate or not. I've spoken to Michael privately about this. Obviously, everyone knows that there is some issue there, conflict of interest with Michael, because everybody knows Godfather and stuff like that is like an inherently Catholic thing. Like it's like a big deal in the Catholic Church. And Michael is the godfather of at least one of Candace's children. So Michael has tried to stay out of it as much as possible. And I've talked to him in private. I won't say exactly what we talked about. I'll say what my position of what I said. I won't say anything Michael said. I told him that I 50-50 agreed with him that yes, we have to focus on the important things like the election and things like that. We have to let the court of law do what the court of law does, but to underestimate how much effect all of this is having on the outside, where like we talked about, you got people being like, that's it, I'm not voting, I'm over it, screw your elections, all that other kind of stuff. To not address those things, I think.
Yeah, who do you want us to vote for, Graham? Who do you want us to vote for? AIPAC's pick? TPUSA's pick? Trump, whoever Trump endorses? Who do you want us to vote for? The reason why we're saying we don't want to vote is that there's no good option right now. That we're screwed. Won't vote for them. Now we realize we're definitely not voting for them either. We all will vote if we find someone, to be honest, that's actually going to serve the people. We just don't have that option. That's why we're excited. I don't believe one man or woman can fix anything. Nobody's Jesus. It's the only man, and he's God, that can solve everything. But he hasn't come back yet. Until then, it's up to us to do what we can, have faith, pray, work together. Putting our faith in one man or even one man in his administration has always failed us. So I'm even hesitant to get super excited about Tucker and Kent and Massey. I'm definitely more excited that they seem to be honest, transparent, and that they do genuinely want to serve the people. But I don't want to get my hopes up again. But if they do create this third party and run, I'll vote for them. But I'm not going to be so positive like we were with Trump in this administration. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Let's see. Let's go here. This was Andrew and Blakey Poo.
The history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
All right, welcome everybody. It is Monday, August 10th, 2026. Blake's holding it down in the Y-Refi studios. How we doing?
Wait, hold on. I just got something. I'm going to copy this and throw this into my chat to see what this thing is that someone just messaged me, what they think it is on George Zinn's waist. Hold on. Hold up. Goodness gracious, this mouse. I put brand new batteries in it again. I'm going to have to get a new one. All right, I'm letting it think. I just put it in to see. Okay, somebody messaged me. Okay, I can share this. There's no identifying information on this. I don't know if this is what it is, but it might be. All right. So it's called a PortPack H2 3.2-inch screen radio receiver and black PortPack H4M plus hack RF kit SDR development board. Huh. That's interesting. Looks like a freaking Game Boy. Also kind of looks like an old school iPod. Let's read what it does. Yes, those are in a completely different category from ATAC or UFED, and they were worth looking at given that you're trying to identify an unusual electronic device. A Hack RF1 plus PortaPack is a portable software-defined radio SDR. The Hack RF provides the RF hardware, while the PortaPack adds the screen, controls, battery capability, micro SD storage, etc., allowing it to operate without a laptop. The H2 is an older PortaPack design with a 3.2-inch 240 by 320 display. Depending on firmware and hardware, an Hack RF PortaPack can receive and analyze radio signals across roughly 1 megahertz to 6. Is it gigahertz? I don't know what GHZ stands for. Hack RF hardware is also capable of transmission. Common Mayhem firmware interfaces include receive, transmit, capture, replay, scanner, looking glass, utilities, and hack RF modes. The H4M is a newer PortaPack design. It still attaches to a Hack RF hardware, but improves things such as the touchscreen interface, navigation controls, micro SD, internal battery operation, USB-C charging, speaker, microphone, and expansion capabilities. Here's the important part. The device in your original photograph does not look like a standard PortaPack H2 or H4M. The PortaPacks above are small handheld devices. Look at the H2 being held in someone's hand. Yeah, it's smaller. In the third image, that gives you the scale. All right, but there could be like multiples. Like, what if he had like 3 different things, you know? Yeah, let me go back here. Let me see if anyone threw in a chat, super chat regarding that real quick. All right, let me catch up with some of these too. All right, Frank Turk sell records, 2 muzzle powder blasts in Bray's Frank Turek epicenter video. Oh, follow the epicenter or Frank Turek epicenter video. I'll have to go look at that. My nose is driving me nuts, and I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of smoke up here. Oh, Evelyn, is that in response to your earlier one, which was note that none of CK's security team flinched? They'd been told they would be tranked. No, before that, I think it was the other one, right? The golden parachute, 3 bullets, but only 1 was heard. I think that's what it was in response to. Zamet, Matt, off topic. The other night with Clint, I send typo day before Charlie, September 9th, 2025, Israel wipes out the Hamas leaders negotiating in Doha, Qatar. Oh, okay. Yeah, because he read it and he said something like, he corrected and thought it was wrong. All right, I can send that. I'll send that to Clint. Do you want me to make sure he sees this? The correction? Thank you. And it's on here now, too. It's immortalized on this stream. Thank you for the gift. Thank you, Republic Tea Room, for being a member for 2 months. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Carmen, thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift, Carmen. Okay, Charlie Kirk's crew didn't know there was a gas-powered pellet gun manipulated into the ceiling of the tunnel behind and above Charlie Kirk. Okay, I've seen, I remember early on seeing a video about that. I don't know that I see that exact same thing when I looked at those photos and video. So then what you're saying is that he was shot from behind and that there's an entry wound on the back of his head somewhere in his hairline because you can't see the entry wound, right? And then this is the exit wound. Evelyn, is that what you're saying? That this was an exit wound, entry wound. The tunnel behind Charlie had a gas-powered pellet gun and it shot, and it was manipulated into the ceiling and it shot a pellet towards Charlie. That's definitely plausible too, because I even thought that like there was a non-gunpowder gun, possibly even shooting like ball bearings. And that's why it was like a weird wound and didn't behave like a high velocity, not even like it didn't even behave like a normal like 9mm round or 226 or 5.53, and definitely not like a 30-06. So it's definitely possible. I just don't. We saw the back video from Candace. I don't remember seeing anything like. You remember with JFK when he gets hit? I mean, equal and opposite force. You get hit with a bullet. Charlie doesn't go like this from the back. He kind of goes up and back. To me, all of the force comes up, hits him, and then he falls over. Dan pushes him over. If you have something that's really clear, can you email it to me? I'd love to take a second look at it. Thank you for the gifted membership. And thank you, Evelyn. All right, let's get back to it. I'm caught up. Where
you doing, Blake?
I'm doing great. I think we're coming to the cosmic realization, Andrew, that it is my mic flag now. I think I have possessed this flag more days in the last month than you have, and I don't think that's going to be changing this week. So
I'm the captain now. That's what Blake says. Well, listen, Blake, entirely disagree. It is my mic flag. I'll be there to reclaim it. And
I just got to say, I have a mic flag coming tomorrow. It'll be my mic flag. Also, I think he's wearing the exact same shirt as me, and I don't like it. Andrew, you don't pull it off, man. You got to go back to the suit and tie. That's much more your uptight, sold out, sell out, version of you. Okay? I do the black tee. Oh, I get what you're doing. You're copying Benny Johnson. I get it. Yep. One of your eyes is halfway shut. I don't know if you noticed that right now. Yep. All right. Ready?
Time. Nevertheless, we have a show to do about much of the news that has been happening. And I would be remiss if we did not be honest with this audience about what we are facing in this current moment.
Here it comes.
Now, if you asked me, is it okay to vote Democrat? I would tell you very, very clearly, absolutely not. I don't know what's gotten into people across the podcast sphere, the internet sphere. There is a lot of people that will look you straight in the face that you have known to be conservatives for many years that will tell you, actually, we need to vote Democrat. We need to burn this down, and we need to usher in an era of post left and right politics. That's an old paradigm, bro. Well, that's not true. If you vote Democrat, they will let in 3 to 5 million third worlders a year illegally, and they will do it happily.
Fear mongering. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's also possible that electing Donald Trump got us into this war that he lied to us and said he wasn't going to get us into. And we have no idea the outcome, the long-term consequences of this. Okay. You saw, what was it? Israel just, got mad at Trump and refused the the deal. Where's the deal? Why does I save it to watch later and it's like not here? What the heck? Maybe it's in my history. Let's see. That's a really long clip of him. Where's the one that I watched? It was like a shorter one. What the heck, dude? Net and how do you spell net and Yahoo rejects peace plan, right? Who do I want to listen to out of this? All right, BBC. I don't know. Do we like accents? I don't know. Are any of the mainstream news going to tell the truth? I don't know. I guess let's hear what she has to say. But Netanyahu rejects the peace plan.
Netanyahu has rejected President Donald Trump's Board of Peace 15-point plan for Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu said that
rejects this Board of Peace for Gaza. I wish I had an accent. For Gaza. Netanyahu.
The Israeli army would not withdraw from Gaza until Hamas fully disarms.
Hamas.
Last month, Donald Trump had announced the plans for Hamas to...
I'm not making fun of someone with an accent. I think an accent makes you sound more credible. I don't know what it is. An Australian accent, a British accent, it just makes you sound more intelligent. I don't know what it is. Just like there's other accents that make people sound less intelligent. I don't know what it is. Am I wrong about that? There are some accents that when they speak, you just go, I think they're telling the truth. They seem like they know what they're talking about. I don't know what it is. I think it's the accent, but I believe her. And there's other people they speak, and you're like, you're stupid.
To disarm if Israel pulled out of Gaza. Well, in just the past few moments, Hamas has told the AFP news agency that the US must pressure Benjamin Netanyahu to accept the Gaza deal. Despite a ceasefire being agreed last October, Israel's continued to carry out strikes on Gaza. With
You
the
don't
Health Ministry
say.
saying that more than
Crikey.
1,200 people have been killed. Well, let's cross over to Jerusalem.
Are they gonna show? No, I don't want to hear. No. Are they gonna show him speak? Let's see.
Was full Hamas disarmament. He said that couldn't be some fictitious disarmament as he...
Yeah, okay, we get it, bro. He's not for peace. Okay, we got it. Netanyahu doesn't want peace. He wants total destruction of Hamas. There will be no peace. Netanyahu rejects peace. The 15-point peace agreement was rejected by Netanyahu. Yeah, he wants them all dead. What did Charlie say? October something of 2023? I got to be careful how I say this. I think, Netanyahu has a mandate to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yeah. You can't partially do that. You know what I mean? Once you've committed to that, you got to see it all the way through. If you're BB, it's just, you can't partially do that. There's no partial ethnic cleansing and partial genocide. It's like, it either is or it isn't. He's committed to it. They took Charlie out to ensure that they could get away with it, in my opinion. They threatened Trump. They shot one across the bow to scare him into compliance. They're pretty much committed to this. They bought TPUSA, bribed, blackmailed, threatened, all the above. Yeah, I think that they're invested in this long term. Okay. I can never get an Aussie accent sounding right. Neither can I. I suck. Okay, I'll watch some Crocodile Dundee. I'll watch some Rescuers Down Under. What's another one from Australia? I'll work on my Australian accent. One of these days, hello, mate. Hello. A dingo ate my baby. Crikey. That's not a knife. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Right? Crocodile Dundee. I grew up with Crocodile Dundee. 10 out of 10? No, 10-7. Never made sense. No, even to Charlie, it never made sense. Yeah. Not allowed to talk about it, though. You might end up with a road mic with a micro-shaped cheap charge on it. That's what they did.
They will smile to your face. They will lie to you about why they are doing it, that it's even happening at all. They will tell you the border is secure, and they will overrun this country. For that issue alone, you should never vote Democrat again. There are myriad issues which you could put in that category, but for that issue alone, you do not want America to be invaded again by third worlders. If you have kids, grandkids, you do not want to vote Democrat. But
fearmonger. He wants you to be afraid, because that's what, that's the spirit of God. Fear. That's you guys have read that. Fear comes from the Lord. Okay. He wants you to know peace that surpasses all understanding. Dang it. Who's this guy working for? Huh. All of a sudden, one day, it's just these things are just going to oh my gosh. Do you guys remember when he was wearing a hat and he said he had a procedure on his head? They filed the horns down. They were growing. He had them removed. They were going to peek out the back. He's made it into full demon maturity. And when you're full demon maturity, the head horns come out. He wasn't going to be able to wear a hat forever. He had to get him surgically removed. That's what they did. That's what it was. Yeah, plugs. I mean, obviously. And yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think it was plugs. He sits across from Blake every day. It's like he looks at Blake and he thinks and he goes, this will be you if you don't get hair plugs. Not everyone can pull this off like me. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan pulls it off. Not everyone can have an even shaped head. Some people have knobby heads. It's perfect. Until you look at the back. Because I've had too many staples. I cracked my head open too many times. The back up here, it doesn't look good. But we don't go there. That's why there's no camera back there for that angle, because I'm not going to show you that. I'm just kidding. There'd be no point to have a camera back there. Why you want to look at the back of my head? All the good stuff happens up here. Can you do that face? Who am I? Andrew Wilson. Or no. There's too many bad Andrews out here. Andrew Kolvet.
If our pitch is only going to be that voting Democrat is the least worst choice, or is the most worst choice, and that voting Republican is the least worst choice, then that is not an inspiring message to about 50% of the country.
You don't say. That's literally been every election, right? It's like, that's bad. That's a little less bad. That's evil. That's the lesser of two evils. What am I going to do? I guess the lesser of two evils. What is that saying? Like, it's better to like the devil instead of the devil you don't know, or what's that saying? It's like, the enemy or the enemy you don't know. It's something like that. I don't remember what it is, right? Or I know there's another saying. It's like, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's not what I'm talking about. But Andrew, like, that's how it's always been. Nobody wanted to vote for George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, bro. We believed, okay, so I guess it did happen once. Like, we genuinely believed Trump and Vance were like not the lesser of two evils. We were looking at them, and we looked at Kamala and what's his name? Gosh, what's that guy's name? He's so not memorable. The Michigan guy, the weird guy, right? This weapon of war. What was his name? I forget his name. No, not Biden. Who she ran with once Biden was put into a retirement home. Not Biden. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Yes, that's the one I was talking about. Waltz. Yes, the weird guy. It was Waltz. The crackhead. Yes. Well, Biden's son's the crackhead, actually. Allegedly. No, not allegedly. He admitted it. Tim Waltz. Yes. So when Kamala and Tim were running and Trump and JD, this was the first time, at least in my memory, that we looked and we were like, no, like, I genuinely think Trump and JD are better. This isn't like the lesser of two evils. Probably for some people, they withheld complete like trust in Trump and JD. Some of us were totally hoodwinked. I followed freaking Charlie too, man. Like, I believe Charlie was not lying. I don't think he was lying at all. I think he believed everything they said. I never trusted Marco Rubio, though. Have you seen his ears? That guy, you can't trust Dumbo. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. His ears are massive. He can fly away at any time. Okay. That's not why I don't trust him. He's total Israel. The guy, like, you know what's crazy? They're rewriting the history about Lindsey Graham. They just renamed a base after Lindsey freaking Graham. Bro, that's like renaming a bridge or a city after Dick Cheney. Like the spirit of death. Like, I don't know how old I was when Dick Cheney died. I don't remember what the eulogies were like for him. How many people got up there and were like, this man was such a good man. He changed this country. He just was so good. He fought for this country. I mean, like, Dick Cheney's evil. Marco Rubio is too. So is Lindsey Graham. So I think it's insane how they're like, after the fact he's dead, they're like, he's amazing. He fought for this country. He served this country so well. Which country? When you say this country, what country are you talking about? You talking about Israel? You talking about Israel? Like he served Israel. Ukraine? You talking about Israel and Ukraine? He served that country. The hidden country that runs the world, that country. Didn't serve America. Bro was giddy on death. He's like, we're going to war. We get to kill people. Yeah. Not a good guy. What can I say? Supposedly Trump was more moved at Lindsey Graham's memorial than Charlie Kirk's. Make that make sense. It does make sense if you realize that Trump wasn't Charlie's friend, but he was Lindsey Graham's. Get out of here with these people. I didn't mean to do that. Why did I do that? Hold on. Right.
Tree. Because you got 25% hardened on this side, 25% hardened on that side, and then you got about the mushy middle, the normies, as we sometimes call them.
Is that what you call it?
And that's not a pejorative, by the way. People should not be so fixated on politics. The politics of this country should run itself and should be something you could sort of put in the background and depend upon that it will be handled professionally and in an adult manner with common sense. What's in the best interest of the country? We are not in that era. And so there are a lot of people fixated on politics, and they're just getting bad vibes. And I will repeat myself till I'm blue in the face that I think it goes back to the way Epstein was handled for a lot of people. That felt like a psychic break, a betrayal of trust, of transparency. Whether or not the admin knew that, I don't think they understood that.
He's losing his talking points. He's like, he does it so well because he's one of them, but he's like, remember, like Charlie going like heavy on the Jeffy Epi stuff, right? He was going so hard on the Jeffy Epi stuff that freaking Donald Trump called him and said, knock it off. You're making my job harder. Okay. We're going to release it. Can you just pump the brakes? Trump is also the guy that called him and told him to call Candace to stop talking about Brigitte Macron's wee. Not good people. These aren't good people. Can you imagine when Charlie got that phone call and he was like, what? You freedom of speech absolutist here. Candace Owens, my friend, foreign country, prime minister, America. Did you know that his wife was 45 when he was 14 when they met? I mean, you want me to tell Candace to stop talking about that? You don't think that bothered Charlie? You don't think that Charlie sent Candace a text or a call and was like, hey, you don't need to stop anything. And in fact, what Charlie said publicly was, when you tell him to stop talking about something, to not talk, to not have someone on, he's going to do it even more. Him and Candace Owens, two peas in a pod. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, same thing. You tell them to sit down and shut up and stop and be a good boy. It does the opposite. So I don't think he called Candace and said, hey, I think you should stop. Yeah. Can you take it easy on the whole Jean-Michel Trogno, being a man thing? Can you just take a break? No, I think he called Candace and was like, you should probably do more. You should probably keep going. They clearly, you're over the target. Trump called. Emmanuel and Brigitte were just here when they called me. So obviously they told him to call me, to call you. Don't stop. So I think that was another sign that like Trump and JD to Charlie was like, oh, you're not your own men. Oh, you're not an outsider coming in to like root out corruption and all that. You just said that. I can only imagine from the election to when he was murdered, how many things happened that for Charlie, he was just like, oh, shoot. How many of these do I tally up until I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was part of this. I can't believe I got everyone to vote him in. Like, we're screwed. This guy's evil. If they were monitoring his texts and phone calls, which we know they were, it's Charlie freaking Kirk. his wife would get some sort of like, hey, make sure he gets the phone today. He needs it. Can't, just make sure. Multiple times that happened. They're tracking probably Candace, probably Tucker as well. But Tucker just interviewed with Sean Ryan. And in fact, I'm going to bring this back up again because I'm going to get me one of these. And I think everyone needs to at this point. Because if they're looking, they're looking at all of us, y'all. They are looking at all of us. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find the right one. No, I didn't want to go that far. I'm going to get me one of these for sure. Zero Ghost phone. If they're tracking Tucker Carlson, hopefully Tucker has one of these now. Tucker, if you don't have one of these, you need to get one of these. I'm getting me one of these. Because especially like as a public figure, I think everyone should have one of these. Like we should all be done with surveillance and big tech, pulling our data, sharing our information. Like we should all be just done with all of it. It's American owned, zero surveillance, constitutional values, 100%. Mission, vision. Yeah, to put a private, secure phone in the hands of every American who refuses to surrender their constitutional rights to a tech company. 100%. Professionally hardened Google Pixel phones running graphene iOS. No Google services, no ad tracking, no location broadcasts. I love that. Guided setup tutorials so anyone can use it regardless of technical background. American-based customer support. There you go. You hate it when you call some and it's not in America and you're like, dang it, you guys, I can't understand you. You can't understand me either. The vision, a future where personal privacy is the default, not the exception. Yeah, do you guys remember hearing about that huge data breach that happened because some like cop in Florida like did something and like, I don't know. I do get robocalls. I don't know when it started. It sucks. I need to pay. Somebody was talking about this today. I need to pay for like me and my wife to, what are the name of those companies where they look to see if your information is out there and then they fight to get it away. And then you have to like do stuff to safeguard going forward. That's for sure what I want to do and have one of these phones. We got to be a step ahead of these people, dude. A Faraday bag. Yeah, but then you got to take it out of the Faraday bag to use it. Like anytime you take it out of the Faraday bag, it's just like, peekaboo. And they're like, there you are. Got you. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, let's continue. Because this guy's now defending Jeffy Epi and the Trump administration, and it's crazy. Who are we looking at? Oh, it says Charlie Kirk Show. Charlie Kirk Show. Real America's Voice. It should say Real Israel's Voice. That's what it should say. You know, it's got a star on there. It's not the right star. It's got the right colors, though. Yeah, not a lot of red. Not even the right color red over there. Freedom at Charlie Kirk. You know what's really crazy, too? When they go live on X, do you know what it says? Tell me this isn't just gross. It says Charlie Kirk is live. It says that on YouTube, too. You get a notification. It says Charlie Kirk is live. How gross is that? What a, like, in-your-face perversion, demonic thing is that? Charlie Kirk is live. It's so insane. They don't look at that. Erica doesn't look at that and go like, is there a way we could like disable that function? No. Maybe we should change the name. We should probably change the name. You know, out of respect. We did say in the first week that we weren't going to do gross things like this. Andrew's like, it's okay. Yeah. We lie, remember? Charlie didn't want us to lie. He's gone. We lie. We all do. Nope. You all do. Freaking scumbags.
But it was a break, okay? And you can get mad at me in the emails if you want, that we're playing into the hoax. I'm just telling you the politics of it, folks. Now, do I think Trump did anything wrong? No, of course. But I think that it could have been handled better. Then you get into Iran. A lot of people believe that President Trump said no new wars. It's not exactly what he said. He was very consistent on Iran. Nevertheless, the Iran conflict, you go back to Midnight Hammer, but then you get into the spring and the ongoing conflict with Iran. It's been a drag, okay? It's been a drag. And unfortunately—
Where have we heard that before? Semantics. Where have we heard them try to get out of something with semantics? Who was it? Who was it? Erica freaking Kirk. Oh, you meant text messages. Oh, no. He did send a message in like WhatsApp in a messaging app service. Is that what you're talking about? I said no to, he didn't send a text message. Semantics is how you're going to get out of it. He didn't say no new wars. I don't know if it's in this segment. He says no forever wars. That's what he says. This isn't a forever war. Has it been forever yet? There's no way to tell that, moron. Okay? And that's not even the point. No, we said no new foreign wars, not at our benefit. This was not at our benefit. They didn't have ballistic capability to reach us with nuclear warheads on it. They lied about that. That was Israeli intelligence, right? Even Charlie said it, right? They were wrong about Iran. They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about 9/11. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong. He just goes on and he goes, yeah, maybe we don't trust them on this one. Yeah, I agree. Andrew Kolvet's like, nah, you just trust them. Charlie's gone. You just trust him now. I did. I showed the pick up the mic t-shirt. It's Charlie's hand holding it. Yeah, I showed it yesterday. You want me to show it again? I think it's sad. It's really gross. It's in my bookmark. I also got a clip of Cabot Pizza Boy Phillips. So there's that. And then I got a little clip of Candace, but I got to finish what we're doing with Andrew Kolvet. But let me find the pick up the mic shirt. There it is. Yeah, I showed this yesterday. In my opinion, it looks like the same hand in the same day. It looks like it's the same picture. It's a different mic head. That one's round. That one's oval. Nonetheless, yeah, I think it's totally par for the course with these people.
This has resulted in some very negative polling, and we have to be honest about it. We have to offer something better than we're just not as bad as the other guys. And I think Blake would agree. Blake, I'm going to play this clip, and then I'm going to have your reaction on the...
What's the clip? I don't want to hear the clip. Let's hear his reaction, though.
Represents blue-collar working class people, like the union voters who swung towards Trump. It represents a lot of rural voters. I think a lot about, if you've ever heard of it, it's called the driftless area. It's kind of the border area, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Western Illinois, kind of all northern Mississippi River area. And those are counties that are rural, lightly populated, but historically voted pretty blue. They voted for Obama, for example. They helped make Iowa a blue state under Obama. And they swung really dramatically, aggressively towards Donald Trump. That is what we do. When we talk about Donald Trump remaking American politics, it's not just about issues, it's about coalitions. That Donald Trump massively boosted the GOP with lower education voters, with lower income voters, while at the same time, he was shedding some of the higher educated, higher income voters who had more globalist points of view, who didn't care for his style of politics. That was the Trump realignment, Andrew. And that's what enabled him to win states no Republican had won in decades. That is how he's able to win Wisconsin, win Michigan, win Pennsylvania, win back Nevada after it had gone blue for several elections. And
that's what I got to say about you, dude. Why don't they use their own YouTube channel? Because there's not 6.5 million subscribers. Could you imagine the numbers? You guys like, okay, let's just take a look. Let's have some fun with this. Ready? Let's look at the comments. Let's take a journey down to the comments. All right. First of all, this video was posted 12 hours ago. Oh my gosh. This video is 12 hours old. It's a live. All right, let me explain. And so right here, it says 1,237 views, and it was streamed live 9 hours ago. Why did it say 12 hours ago just a second ago? What happened to that? I swear it said 12 hours ago. I'm not making that up. Why did it do that? It says right there, 13 hours ago. Why, when I click on it, it says 9 hours ago? Do you guys see that? It says 9 hours ago. When I collapse this, it says 13 hours ago. What is up with that? Which one is it? Make up your mind. All right. Anyways, it was posted a long time ago. Just to give you a heads up of what like authentic numbers look like when people support you. Let's go to my channel. Oh, here's the other thing I can show you. Let me go back to his channel real quick. So if we were to go, so Real America's Voice has 320,000 subscribers. Okay. That's a lot. You guys, that's a lot. And with 320,000 subscribers, 13 hours ago, this live video has done 1,237 views. Let me spell this out for you. That means they had like 5 people watching live, maybe 15 to 20. Okay. One of the things about doing a live, when you're doing a live, like right now I have 540 people live. It like multiplies the views. By the time you're done, you're at like in the thousands. Okay. Like, he has 320,000 subscribers on that channel. Not 13-hour-old video to be at 1,237 views is insane. Like, let's just look at one of the videos, one of my recent videos, just a comparison, not because I'm great. I'm a smaller channel. All right. That's why I'm comparing it. I'm not even going to compare him to Candace or Baron or Coach or Zach. Oh, what the heck? What did I do? Hold on. Oh, I took it off screen. That wasn't what I meant to do. Hold on. My point in showing you mine is not for me to brag. It's to show you with someone with only 32,000 subscribers, the community is more consistent and more supportive, right? So out of 320,000 subscribers, a video that's 13 hours old is at 1,237 views. We'll look at the likes. We'll compare it as well. We'll look at the comments. It's to show you they have completely lost what Charlie built. All right. So like here, let's do, what's a video that is, we'll go a day ago. We could even go older. Like this one is at 6,000 views. This one's at 28,000 views, 10,000 views, 23,000 views, 11,000 views. And this is 4 days old. All right. Yeah. Let's see. What's another thing I could show to show? Oh, I guess we could go to, oops. Oh, hold on. I'm not trying to do that. Stop it. So out of, where is it? Where is the views? Here. Okay. So 28,215 views, and it posted on August 9th, 1,900 likes. Okay. That's not a credit to me. That's a credit to you guys and to the content itself. There's 219 comments. All right, let's go back and look at theirs. All right, so it's insane. They have 66 likes. Okay. Let's go to comments. Wait, did they? No way. Did they really? There's one comment. Where's the comment? Where's the one comment? Holy smokes. Did they disable comments? Oh, here it is. AOC didn't freeze her eggs. Anyone who believes that is as stupid as she is. Okay. No one, I don't know. Maybe they deleted the comments, or literally in 13 hours, not one person has left a comment. That's kind of insane. Is the live chat disabled? Why is there no live chat? Oh, do I have to hit play?
As you say,
live
we
chat
need to
replay
be
is
paying
on.
attention if the polls say that is.
Messages appeared when the stream was live. When was live will show up here. Does that mean like nobody was in the chat? Does that mean like nobody's in the chat?
Swinging the other way. They are true swing voters. They're the kind of people you can win.
This is that a $20 burrito is even the norm. I'm not.
Oh my gosh, these guys. They're saying that the whole burrito thing is that like it's not really inflation. The economy's not really bad. You're all crazy. Nothing to see here. Shut up. Go home. Oh, this was the video that I want to show.
Andrew Wilson potentially debating Candace Owens. Now.
Oh no, we played this one. My bad. This was just the shorter clip of it. All right. Now I'm going to get to here. I found this from a long time ago, and I just wanted to journey back because I've never seen Dana Loesch and Seth Dillon, two people we don't really like. So I wanted to see what they said. Okie dokie. I'm clearing up the screen I have up here, making sure everything's gone so I can keep track of where I'm at. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we can also look at this because I want to look at that later. All right, I can get rid of that as well. All right, is it on the screen? It is. All right, you guys, I haven't done this once yet. All right, if you guys can do me a favor while you're here, please hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way to help support this channel. It's for free. It's free. It's free. You know what also bummed me out, you guys? I was looking at my analytics, and it showed me that a lot of people that view the show don't subscribe. And I'm not alone on that. I saw Zach talk about that the other day and Barron talk about it the other week, that we can see how many people watch the video and don't subscribe. I don't know what that is. You guys don't like me? It's all good. You're allowed to choose what you're going to do, but it is how you can help support the channel. You can, wait, here's a cool one. Subscribe today. And then hit the like and subscribe. All right. Enough of that. Hold on. Am I caught up? I'm not caught up. Let me do this. Evelyn, Rick Cutler jerked his left shirt cuff towards Charlie Kirk in sync with the roof shot into the Pacifica lid that opened 3 seconds before the shot. You mean the trunk of the car? The trunk, not the lid, right? The trunk. You mean the boot? The boot that opened 3 seconds before the shot and closed 5 seconds after. Yeah, you're talking about the trunk hatch of that car. Just so you know, I've watched so much. There's nothing on Rick Cutler's shirt. It's actually not in sync with the sound of whatever's happening that day. But everyone's okay. It's okay that we don't have to agree on everything. Okay. I don't hold to that position that Rick Cutler actually had anything in his shirt. Okay. He didn't have anything in his hand either, because moments before we see his hand, he has this like band on his left hand, not on his right. And it's like it could be a lot of things. It could be an anti-electrocution band. It could be a heart monitor. It could be, but that's on this hand. Okay. But we see his right hand. There's nothing in his hand. It comes up right before, and he's just fixing his shirt. It's not in sync with the explosion or the bang. Okay. But it's okay. Everyone, especially this early, well, it's not early. It's sad that we're 11 months and we don't know, but we think we know. It's okay that people within Candace's, Barron's, coaches, minds, others, community, we don't all have to agree on everything. I think the big point that we for sure agree, Tyler Robinson didn't do it. He wasn't on the Losi Center. Charlie wasn't shot with the 30-06, right? There seems to be bigger players involved. Our government, Israel, this administration, members of TPUSA, in our opinion, we agree on that. And that, I think, as long as we keep pushing for the truth, and even I think it's better that so many people have different theories, because they're all going to be hunting those theories down all the way to the end until they can prove it or disprove it. And I think we need to do that. Every theory needs to be proven or disproven so that when we get to the final one, we know for a fact. I don't want it to be like JFK, where we're like, we know, but we don't know. It's like never been like proven. It's been like substantiated, like pretty strongly. It's like so close. It's never been publicly admitted. Thank you, Vassy. Please look at the most recent X post by Meech. I alerted him to Erica's words. Erica? Let's see. And then I got to finish what I'm doing, okay? Why isn't it coming up? What the frick? Why is he not coming up in my thing? Go to my chat. Chat. Did I spell it wrong? Hopefully I didn't spell it wrong. Okay, so, well, he has the Kirk hives have unearthed more Charlie Kirk and Kanye West. That one? No, that's pinned. Okay. It's going to be fun watching Fed sloppers like Bronson here have to deny their own reality in order. That one? No, that can't be it. No. Did you really say this? That one? Charlie Kirk was just some man on campus. I think it's this one. Maybe. Okay. Maybe. Erica's words. I think this is the one you're talking about. Just hold on. Let me pull it up. Is it this one, Vassy? We watched this when it happened. She's wearing her Shaolin monk getup.
There will be some of you in this room, and you guys will be the ones that are speaking to your own generation. That is way more important than throwing some man on campus that has no connection to you guys.
Can you say that again?
No, that's not what she said. This is the danger with taking things out of context. She wasn't talking about Charlie Kirk. Okay, I've seen the whole thing, you guys. So what she's talking about is they don't want to just replace Charlie with some man that nobody knows. They tried to do that. Frank Turek, Jack Posobiec, Blake Neff, Shane Winnings, and a couple other people, Cabot Phillips. She's saying, we want you to be the ones. And that's why they hired Andrew Wilson to teach the college students and the younger kids to debate, even though I don't believe Andrew Wilson's a good one to do that. In the context of this full video, she's saying that she wants the youth to be the ones to go out and do these campus events and debate with their peers, not some man they don't know. She's not talking about Charlie Kirk. Sorry. All right. Box Cow Fish. Did you see the Pick Up the Mic shirt from TPUSA? Red, bloody font, just like Shapiro said he would do. Pick up the bloodstained mic. Gross. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I shared that. All right, let's continue. Hold on. I got to get this back up. So this happened, by the way, 9 months ago. This happened October 23rd, 2025. Okay? Just so you know. Because if you don't know, well, now you know. Here we go.
Florida announced that they were notified of the threats and they got an arrest warrant and they charged this guy, Nicholas Ray of Spring, Texas, with extortion, written threats to kill, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. And he was apparently motivated by this divide on the right. Seth joins us now via video. It's good to see you, my friend, and I'm glad you're safe.
Good to see you too, and so am I.
So he came on the show to talk about his death threat, this guy that was radicalized by Candace Owens, and his life was in danger. And, you know, and if that were true, yeah, that should never happen. But Candace didn't do anything, dude. If people believe that you had something to do with Charlie Kirk and they on their own free will do that, they're probably crazy. Because if they're already bent to making a decision like that, like something's not right. What we do is, like, if we think you're guilty, we're just going to try to prove it. That's our goal. And she's even said, like, nobody do anything. She doesn't want harm to come to any of you. She wants you to be handcuffed and put in prison so you can know and live with your guilt until a very old age. I agree. Except for whoever did kill Charlie, that person should be put to death. Charlie believes so too.
But yeah, thanks for having me on.
What's happening? What I know, I don't even know where to start. I was like thinking about how we were going to even begin this discussion, and it's honestly not something that I ever thought that we would.
Oh my gosh, you know who she looks like right now? Hold on. No, that's not what I wrote. What? Hold on. What the heck? Why is, like, some of my things work and don't work? This is really making me mad. All right, there we go. Hold on. I'm getting there. Hold on. Yes. Ready? Are you ready? Let's see if I can make it bigger. I found her. I mean, right? Am I wrong? I mean, she doesn't have glasses, but I'm not wrong, though. Right? Yes, I'm not wrong.
Have to talk about on the right. Maybe that was me being naive, but
Yes.
it's kind of shocking. Tell us what's happening.
Well, in this particular case, this really goes back to Charlie's murder. That's where a lot of this started. I mean, there's some of it goes back before that, obviously, but where I get drawn into this is the origin of that is with Charlie's murder. You know, he was with me and a bunch of other people in the Hamptons back in August. This is about a month before he was killed.
We know.
And there were a lot of conspiracies floating around about where Charlie was in his position on Israel and how much pressure was being applied to him by the donors and what happened there in the Hamptons. And then some conspiracies, about what happened there were circulating. Candace Owens, of course, being at the forefront of propagating those and painting me as someone who was, a malicious and
Hold on. What up? All right. I forgot. Dude, my brain is crazy today. I totally forgot you were calling. I got so into what I was doing. Okay, let me, I'm live right now. I'm talking on the mic. Yes, this is perfect. Yeah, I got to set it up though. All right, you guys. So I have Matthew Tuzzaroni on the phone. And a lot happened today, some of which I can't say because we're trying to stay away from crazy people. However, what did happen, I'm going to let Matt tell you. All right, I'm going to put you up to the mic. All right, Matt, ready? Go. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to put on speaker. Now go.
Okay. All right, guys. So the last 2 days, I've been receiving phone calls from a Phoenix number, and I received a phone call today. My posts have hit 1 million views on certain subjects, such as the gay orgies. You all know that, that I've explained on Matt's show. So these phone numbers, I had somebody in Phoenix who works in law enforcement and who is a agent and publicist as well. They traced the number, and it's TPUSA headquarters. They're calling me. I don't know why. It's not one of their voter lines. You know, it's not like, I don't know why they would even call me anyways, because I no longer live in Arizona. So we trace the number. It goes right to their headquarters. Now, publicly, their number is listed as an 844 number without the Phoenix area code. So whoever called from TPUSA headquarters was calling from one of their offices. So somewhere internal in the company who uses the Phoenix area code number. So it's not the public number calling me. And we called the number. I had somebody call the number back privately, and then I *67 my own number and called them tonight when I got out of work. And yeah, it's like, thank you for calling TPUSA. We're unavailable right now. We're assisting other people at the moment or whatever. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message. So, and then I got doxxed today too. People are pulling up some financials on me, and they posted them online as well. So I just wanted to call in and just say it's getting real out there. And I'm sure TPUSA wants to send me a cease and desist anytime soon. So, any questions, Matt?
No, I mean, because you and I had been talking, I also kind of know a little bit more of the backstory, which if you guys are on X, because like there's some potentially dangerous people involved that I don't want to, like mention right now, but you can go to Matt Tuccirone's X page and like scroll through and see the succession of what led to where we're at right now. All right. And then it'll make sense to everyone.
Yeah, and plus that person who doxed me today, Matt, this individual is actually not against the other individual that I'm been talking about. He's actually against him as well. This guy is just sick. He goes after everybody that's political. Doesn't matter if he's for them, against them. He'll do his best to just ruin people's lives. That's what he does. That's what this idiot does. But without naming names, because of my posts, everyone, without naming names, this individual had to withdraw his candidacy for a political position today because of the stuff that I leaked. And then that's when TPUSA called me today. Just saying.
Hard to see that those things aren't connected, right?
Right. Yep. So they're pissed. And
yes, the bare chest guy. Someone in the chat said, "Are we talking about the bare chest guy?" Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we are. And this individual was actually fired from TPUSA back in May because of the disastrous Senate run. Which I find odd too. But the fact that I tied this individual back into TPUSA, because it's true, he worked for TPUSA during that time that he, did certain things to me and stole certain things from me. Yeah, I don't care. Called it out. Tied him to TPUSA. TPUSA is pissed.
100%.
So, yeah.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much for calling in, dude.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, I'll call you after I get off, okay? All right, sounds good. All right, bye. This is, do people engage in this kind of stuff if TPUSA is innocent and actually like got nothing to hide and is trying to get good people elected to office? Are these the kind of people they partner with? Are these the kind of people they endorse? They defend? And they it seems like that they're coming after whistleblowers, right? Aubrey Leish, right? Meech, Matthew Tucciarone, and Mason Lemmy, and Dino Fintegrassi. We don't know like how they messed with him, but like he came out and wrote a letter and then kind of like recanted big parts of it shortly after. So, yeah. Not the actions of the innocent, in my opinion. Okie dokie.
Bad actor who was applying, pressure.
By the way, Vassie, you said it again. I showed the video of Erica talking about some man. Did you not see? I addressed that. She wasn't talking about Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you missed that part.
To Charlie, trying to blackmail him. I was supposedly involved in some meeting involving him and Bill Ackman, and
you were,
and Bibi Netanyahu was on the phone offering him $150 million and to get back on board with his support of Israel, and he turned that down. And then guess what? He winds up dead.
You know what's crazy is, so this came out 9 months ago. Oh, what a twisted web we weave, because it came out. Bill Ackman admitted. And the other donor that actually took the 2 million out admitted to that with what's his name, Dinesh D'Souza. Charlie went to Tucker and told him about the Hamptons pressure session. Erica was there. The 150 million was confirmed. You've since admitted that there was a bit of a back and forth. It was confrontational. So it's weird looking back at how you were able to lie and that you've since been called out about it. And the truth always comes out to the light, Seth.
So there's like this crazy conspiracy that I was caught up into. And a lot of people bought it. A lot of people believed it. Everybody is eager to believe that Israel and the Jews are behind everything, right?
Wait. Oh my gosh, you guys. He freaking uses Botox. Look at his brow. I didn't mean to scream. Look at his brow. Let me make it bigger. Brows don't look like this naturally. This is him doing this with his face. Look at me. Hold on. Look at me. No Botox. Okay. Now, wait. Now, look at his forehead. Botox. I'm just saying. Guys shouldn't be doing Botox, bro. It's just not a thing you should be doing. Even if you are on camera. What did they say? Like gray hair, like wrinkles, it's a sign of wisdom, Just own it. You can't be young forever. And the people that I'll speak to men that try to, there's just something wrong up here.
Not everybody, but the people who are susceptible to this stuff, who
look at his brow,
who are having this shoved down their throats all of the time.
Do it again.
They buy into it, and so there was a lot of negative sentiment, and that's putting it mildly,
there it is.
Of course, about
there it is. Foreheads don't look like that unless you're an alien and you're wearing a skin suit, or your Botox is wearing off. Okay. That's what's happening there. There's Penny Copeland. If it's just in the chat, there's no way I'm going to be able to go back and find your chat. We've been doing this for 3 hours and 35 minutes. The chat is so long. If you guys want stuff to get to me, you could throw a super chat in or email me. Okay. There's no way I can scroll back through this live chat and find the specific one that you're wanting me to look at right now. There's just no way. The chat, like I said, 3 hours and 35 minutes worth of a chat. It'll be so hard to find it. So you could, if you want me to find it right now, you can throw a super chat in. If you can't, that's fine. You don't have to do that. Email me what it is you want me to see. Okay. Thank you for the gift, Carmen San Diego. Boom, boom, boom. All right. I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. All right, let's go here real quick. And then we'll be done. Let's see. Does he do his whole opening? No institutions. Why 23andMe can't be? That's not it. Where is it? It's not geography. That's not it. We don't care about your geography lesson. Elitism. That's not it. The cheating husband problem says you. She trusts him before. I don't know. That's not it. 2020. They slept with. What? That's not it. Trust but verify. That's not it. My country, right or wrong. No. This wasn't the right video. Gosh darn it. I hate it when that happens. They don't do good thumbnails with titles that like my freaking history in my YouTube, because I'm like trying to find stuff like all day, and I sometimes don't have time to go back through and like delete the one that I'm like, that one's not it. That's not it. And they get lost, So, but we're at 3 hours and 37 minutes, you guys. Let me pull something up to end on a positive note. Yeah, I like this. Well, hold on. Hold up.
It's a good time.
I mean, wait. Hold on. Yeah. This is it. The part that Charlie says. Okay. Oh my goodness.
For a good old Charlie Kirk clip. By the way, this clip just shows this guy's brain was a computer.
Our country was founded on common law because the Declaration only refers to God 4 times in the Constitution. It doesn't refer to God at all. And it only articulates the structure of government.
So first of all, remember that we were a collection of states and colonies. And you need to read the state constitutions before anything else. 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. In almost every single one of the original state constitutions, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Secondly, 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. You asked about common law, so let's go to 3 principles of common law: presumption of innocence, due process, and jury of your peers.
That's an interesting clip of Charlie to think of applying that to Tyler Robinson right now. Presumption of innocence. What was the other one? Hold on. Jury of peers. What was the other one? Due process, presumption of innocence, and jury of peers.
And jury of your peers. All 3 are biblical principles. So, and all wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is in Leviticus 19, which is the idea of blind justice. We get that in the West, which is incorporated also in the New Testament ideal. Neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you're all one in Jesus Christ, which we get the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas, but more importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal. John Adams famously said the Constitution was only written for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the people of any other. The body politic of America was so Christian and was so Protestant that our form and structure of government was built for the people that believed in Christ our Lord. One of the reasons we're living through a constitutional crisis is that we no longer have a Christian nation, but we have a Christian form of government, and they're incompatible. So you cannot have liberty if you do not have a Christian population.
People call us.
Yeah. It hits hard. One of the things I'm committing myself to are, and I'm not going to like mention them all because it kind of makes it not as, I don't know. And yeah, is to do some things to make myself more equipped to honor this position that I'm in. And yeah, like Charlie was just a man. He was a pretty good one though. He was pretty good. And to become more educated, become more articulate, more well-versed in all of these areas would never be a bad thing. You know, I don't know if I'll ever be able to read 200 books in a year, but I'll definitely start trying. And even if I miss the mark, even by 100 books in a year, not a bad thing. I don't think I'll ever regret that, you know, because there's not enough. There's like no one like Charlie left in this space. They're similar. There's people similar, right? But what a, you know, a breadth of knowledge and experience and wisdom that he had at such a young age. It's pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. And to shoot for that is not a bad thing. So let me make sure I got to everything. You guys, someone should give a super chat. We end on 33 super chats. Get that out of here. Oh my gosh. If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It's the best way to help support the channel. Also, yeah, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. You have no idea. Like I saw the analytics and it's like, holy smokes. So many people watch this on a monthly basis and don't subscribe. I don't know what it is. Okay, maybe you don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe if you don't like it. That's fine. But if you're like continually watching, like, why not? You know? It's a free way to help support a channel. Also, you can like write a comment, throw an emoji in, and hype the video for free. Those are 3 good ways to help support a channel. You don't have to do anything. You just do that. And yeah, let's see if someone heard me. Yay, we got 33 out of there. Thank goodness. Thank you so much, Project Nexus. We're at 35. We're safe now. Not ending with 33 supers. We love you, Matt. Thank you. We're at 35. We're good. Everyone, we're good now. We're safe. Coast is clear. Whew. All right. All right, you guys. There's also some other really, really, really cool news coming. I just have to wait until it's for sure for me to announce it. But it's pretty cool. All right. Yeah. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. All right. God bless you guys. Stay safe. And I'll see you mañana. God bless.